Welcome back to Marvelous Chats, guys. We're gonna bring the boys in. Here we go. I'll let them introduce themselves. My name's Finto.
That's ridiculous. Look at it.
Hello, hello.
Yeah.
Oh no, Finto's
Gentlemen.
here. Quit talking about him.
Hey. Whoa.
What's up,
baby
dude?
face.
Looking clean.
Baby face.
Oh my god, yeah, so there's a story behind it. I had to shave because I was away on holidays and I spent all the time traveling. So in doing so, I had to wear a mask for like 11 hours straight. So,
Bro, I mean, I will say getting a mask beard is terrible. Makes your beard look
Bro.
like shit. But I wouldn't say that's enough reason to shave it.
no, dude, seriously, like I just could not do this, like because I had like really long like taxi trips, and then I had to sit in an airport, get on a plane, wear a mask the whole time. Then my way home, I had a connecting flight, so I had to get off at another airport, wait around, get on another plane, wait around, then obviously be in Dublin airport, get to my car, all this sort of shit. So I was wearing a mask for over 11 hours on Wednesday,
And with glasses, oof.
I have to take the glasses
Feels
off.
good.
I actually broke my glasses as well. They're actually taped on right here.
Oh,
But,
geez.
Okay,
I'm a-
dude, you're leaning into this nerd stuff a little too much, okay?
I'm a mess. I'm a mess. How is everybody?
Don't worry, me and Drunk and I have enough beard to save the whole
I
channel
know
here.
it's growing back slowly.
I shot back not like an hour ago from Shang-Chi.
Hell yeah, man.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about it spoiler free because I'm going to see it tomorrow. So.
Spoiler free, yes.
Alex,
Yep,
have you
sounds
seen
good.
it? Have you seen it yet?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh my god! Oh my god!
So like I just got here. Like my move was reduced from like a month to 2 weeks to 1 week and then
Okay.
to 5 days. So like I just got here,
Right.
and on Thursday my girlfriend was like, you should probably get some sleep. We can go see the movie on Saturday. And I'm like,
No.
I already got the tickets at 7 o'clock. I got like, we're good. And she's
That's-
like, are you not going to fall asleep? And I'm like, I don't think so. I think I'll be good.
That's the Alex I know.
Love it.
Love it.
Yeah, I went to like the first 6 o'clock showing yesterday. The first one that was available. I was in. I was locked in, man.
Hell yeah,
I
dude.
don't know if you got to see this yet, but
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
you got it? Oh my god. That's
yeah, I've had
amazing,
it
dude.
for a bit now. I
That
got
is
something black in
amazing.
there so you can read it better. Yeah, that's right. Sorcerer fucking Supreme.
Dr.
Dr.
Crunk.
Crunk.
Hell yeah. Dude.
Yeah.
Put some spec on it, bro.
They're crunk.
Bro, that's amazing.
I'm
Alex,
more
you're
like the evil Doctor Strange from this week's episode.
Oh, yeah, we have a lot to talk about because
Mhm.
obviously
Yep.
we weren't here last week. We've got two
Yep.
episodes. We got 2 episodes of What If. We got obviously some
A lot of
spoiler,
rumors and stuff. Yeah.
some spoiler-free Shang-Chi. And I think next week we can do like a full breakdown. I think once we've all seen it, I think it'll be kind of better if we just kind of go deep on it next week. But you know, if you guys want to,
I think a week out gives like the true fans. I mean, if they're making their way to see it, and if you're not that into it, then you might wait a little bit longer to see it. So for the people that are actually probably care about spoilers,
yeah.
I think a week is usually a good time frame.
Well, like
Definitely.
I'm just being quite selfish because I haven't seen it myself. I think if I had seen it, we could go balls deep right now. I wouldn't really care. But it's just the fact that I haven't seen it and it's my podcast, so I'm like, fuck this. Like, I'm not ruining it for myself.
Well, yeah. Like you don't want to be
Beard
spoiled.
bucks.
Yeah, I know. So yeah, like just give us a quick little rundown. Like I know me and Drunky kind of spoke offline, but I'd like to kind of hear what he has to say without any spoilers, of course. And then maybe we'll go with you, Kyle, and then maybe
Yeah,
Alex. Work our way
so,
around.
Shang-Chi, like I think even without spoiling anything, it's not like a real movie that does a lot of twists and turns, right? It's like a pretty straightforward movie.
Mhm.
I would give it overall like just kind of a 5.5 or a 6 out of 10. Like I don't think it's it's not there's a lot of really cool stuff in this. The fight scenes are amazing. The hand-to-hand combat, the bus scene that everyone sees in all the trailers, like that lives up to the hype. It is an amazing scene and sequence. That's all just like really cool. But I think that a couple of fight scenes we do get in it carry the movie, and there's a couple other kind of really cool scenes just visually. But overall, like that just doesn't carry the movie for me. I felt the pacing, especially the middle of the movie, was like super long and drawn out. And I think that Shang-Chi is just surrounded by people who are kind of more interesting than him in his own movie. The guy who plays his dad delivers just like this amazing performance that is like one of the coolest villains we've seen in Marvel, and one of my favorite ones I think we've seen. But you know, his sister in the movie that we see in the trailers, like she's, you know, kind of a more interesting character. Aquafina, of course, is a little bit funnier than him. He's surrounded by all this better stuff, and he's just kind of he feels flat. The acting feels flat. The character feels flat. I don't know what his like real motives are deep down, like what his core characteristic is. I don't know what it is coming out of it. And when I say that, what I mean by that is like with Captain America, you know he's gonna do the right thing no matter what. Like he'll throw everything else away to do the right thing and what he believes is right.
Yeah.
Iron Man, he will figure out his way out of every situation and get out of it because he's clever. He'll invent a way out of it. Thor, like he will not think through his choices, but he will smash his way out of it, right? He's gonna throw down the hammer and get through the situation, but he's not gonna think it out, and that causes problems for him, right? I don't know what Shang-Chi's characteristic is. I don't know who he is. They spend this whole movie not setting him up. They do so many flashbacks and they don't really establish who the character is before they do flashbacks. And now we're off to the races, and we just by the very end of it, I don't know what Shang-Chi really like stands for or is about. Like who is Shang-Chi deep down? And I don't really think they went into that well enough. So it's like a 6 out of 10 for me, man.
Okay.
I agree with pretty much all the points Drunky said, but for me, it was more like an 8 out of 10, just because some of the best, like the martial arts and the combat, really great. There's some cameos. That's all I'll say. Awesome. I enjoyed, but he's right. It's really going forward, once he pops into the next movie, it's almost going to be like, who the hell is this guy still? You're still going to have that feeling.
Okay. Yeah. So they did
going forward.
The origin story itself, basically.
You just don't know him on a personal level at all, really.
Yeah,
you literally, it's like, I don't know. It's like looking at someone's Instagram for 5 minutes and then someone trying to say, all right, tell me all about this person. You're like, they like pizza? I saw some things that they had in their hands. Maybe they like, you know, you just don't feel like really invested or connected. Like Drunky said, you feel a lot more connections to everybody else in the movie other than him. And, but that being said, for me, the combat, again, the visuals, some of the things they did, special effects. I'm a big sucker for like old school Asian art styles and stuff like that. So like for me, I just was visually blown away. The storytelling outside of the main character was awesome to me. But again, the movie is named Shang-Chi. So if this movie was named something that's not Shang-Chi, and it wasn't like, if I didn't know that this was supposed to be about him and his movie, if this movie was just called The Ten Rings, it would be a better movie. But since it's called Shang-Chi and you don't learn anything about Shang-Chi, really, that's where you're losing. But everything else for me, I loved. Visuals, everything else.
Alex?
Yeah. I completely agree with Drunky and Kyle. Like they really hit all the points that I was thinking about. And I don't have much more to add other than, yeah, like I mainly agree that the fight scenes were the main points that carried the movie, because like I said, I was tired but the fight scenes woke me up. But as soon as storyline happened, I was actually dozing off. So it you know, hopefully when we get your perspective, we can see what you thought of it as well, and we can further like expand on what we were talking about. But yeah, I'm pretty much on board with them.
Yeah, like I obviously am trying to stay away from spoilers and stuff online, but I kind of listened to a first reaction of one of the YouTube channels who, like, I kind of very much so respect their opinion, and kind of similar to what you guys were saying. It was just kind of like, you know, like Shang-Chi isn't not the biggest character to begin with, so kind of like when you're watching the movie, you don't really care about the character as much because, you know, he's not very well known. Like even like an Iron Fist movie probably would have gone down better, that sort of thing. Like, you know, like Shang-Chi himself does not really have much appearances in the comic books even, so it seems like a kind of strange movie to kind of do a solo thing rather than maybe appearing as a secondary character somewhere else. I heard
The Ten Rings were always like an idea, isn't that? Am I getting that right? Like the right gist of it? Thinking of that, like back in the comics, they're more like the idea of that faction rather than, like you said, them being featured a bunch in the comics.
Yeah, I think they're
Right.
kind of like the Illuminati sort
Yeah.
sort of thing. Like, you know, they're kind of always in the background. They're there, like, but
Yeah.
they operate in the shadows, sort of thing. But I kind of like I was watching on Disney Plus. Like, I always watch like the kind of the Legends little promos they put out and stuff like that, and kind of just seeing the Ten Rings Legends clip on Disney Plus kind of got me hyped because it just kind of brings it all together. Like, you know, obviously the Ten Rings first appeared in the first Iron Man movie, so they're there since the very beginning. They're the people that abducted Tony, and you know, you see them pop up again in Ant-Man and so on. And then there's that one shot with the fake Mandarin, which I only rewatched today. I hadn't seen it since it first came out in like 2014. So just like, yeah, for me, like I'm excited to see it just because I want to see the Ten Rings themselves and I want to see a movie about it. So for someone like me, it's gonna hit. I don't know how it's gonna do in like the domestic box office. And what really scares me about the whole thing is that there's a lot of rumors going around now that if this does not perform, we're gonna probably lose Spider-Man and Eternals this year. They're probably gonna be pushed.
Spider-Man 2? I didn't hear about Spider-Man. I heard about Eternals, but not.
Yeah, I think they're probably gonna push all the movies into 2022. So, that would not be good news. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
what I heard domestic wise is that the Thursday opening they got 8.8 million.
yeah, I read that.
Which is below Black Widow, but
Mhm.
I think that's an unfair comparison because Black Widow is such an established character. Everyone loves Scarlett Johansson, you know, huge actress. So even if COVID wasn't here, right? Like take that aside, comparing that to Black Widow, I think is a bad move. I think the best comparison you can have would probably be to Ant-Man, who is kind of a lesser known character to the general public who aren't comic book fans,
Yeah,
and then wasn't introduced in a previous film. Like Black Panther, who I kind of feel like fits this mode of like, you know, kind of a lesser known comic book character, like really cool, got some cool stuff going on, but just not widely known. But they introduced him in Civil War first, or whatever, and then he got a movie. So I think Ant-Man is the best comparison. And with that being said, like Ant-Man opened up to like 5.5 million, and so I think we got to remember that not every MCU movie is this like, you know, billion-dollar franchise.
yeah.
You know, they make it for so much money, they make money off of it, and it's a character that builds. So I think that, you know, Ant-Man, if it beats the Ant-Man numbers, I think we're in a good place.
As of an hour ago, I'm reading that their Labor Day opening weekend records smashing records with 60 million plus midday box office update.
For
Dude, that-
Shang-Chi, damn.
There you
Yeah,
go.
they're at
Awesome.
60 mil.
60 million today.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
midday
actually-
box office update.
That's actually great because I think
This
like,
came out an hour ago.
I think Black Widow only did like 80 million for the entire first weekend.
Right.
And obviously you got to take into consideration that's not counting the Disney Plus. So this is only a theater exclusive movie. So theoretically it should do more, but obviously, as you say, if it's being kind of rated in line with Ant-Man, and I'm actually quite shocked at those numbers for Ant-Man. Obviously the movie came out like prior to COVID, and Paul Rudd's such a massive actor as well. Like I think a lot of I'm surprised that a lot of people didn't go see that just for Paul Rudd, you know. Like I know I was not an Ant-Man fan, but I was a Paul Rudd fan, and I wanted to see that movie from the very beginning, you know. So
Those aren't official numbers, by the way. That they put plus minus in the title so that they could clickbait it.
yeah,
The actual they said the 8.8 million in previews, 25 million today. So officially that's 30. What's that? 32, 33
I wouldn't know.
I'm just looking on
3 million.
I'm looking on IMDb here. Usually they have this stuff listed on it as well.
Oh, IMDb. I didn't know that they would have
The gross worldwide is 14, I think, at the moment. 14 million, which is not great.
Why they?
But-
Why that? I don't know where this
But
that
it's
other.
sitting on an 8.1 right now, which is
With
pretty good rating.
Kyle, so like I think I found the article you were looking at.
That
that
blind
plus-
one.
Yeah, so the that minus is actually a dash. It's just something to kind of show like this is the like the
Then it's
subtitle.
even worse. It's even more clickbaity that way then. It's not a plus minus. Because it's not done 60 million plus.
I think you're right. It looks around 60 million. That's what it's saying. Oh, the potential. Gotcha. I see what you're saying.
Yeah, like I think like I think by Sunday, like I think like it should be definitely up around 100 million like worldwide, easily.
Yeah.
And
Plus,
I think that's not a lot of money. Like, you know, that's not even making back the money that it cost to make the film. So, you know, they've definitely got to be getting themselves into a different mindset for the foreseeable future, because like, you know, a movie like this in 2018 would probably a shit release would be like 300 million, you know, like that'd be them kind of crying, like that'd be them in trouble. Like,
If it does bad enough though, they could use Spider-Man to just say we had a killer year anyway, and then
yeah,
maybe
well, they lose a lot to Sony. They obviously have to split all the revenue with Sony, you know, so it's not exactly fully their thing. And I think, you know, what's happening, and I think what's kind of scaring them a bit now as well, is the fact that nobody's talking about this movie. Everybody's talking about Spider-Man. Nobody's talking about the Eternals anymore. Everybody's talking about Spider-Man because this trailer came out and just fucking blew the internet wide open, like, you know. So,
dude, if they could have attached the trailer to the exclusivity, like
that's what
we're gonna have the trailer with Shang-Chi.
That's what they should have done.
Win-win.
A lot of people were talking about that online, saying like, you know, you might not get this online. This might not be available on YouTube. You might have to actually go to a cinema to see it. And I think that was actually a fucking great idea, because, you know, people would definitely go to see Shang-Chi just to watch a trailer for fucking Spider-Man, like, you know?
Yeah.
100%.
I think it's also important to keep in mind when we're talking about the world box office for this one, is that they didn't get a release in China. The Chinese government did not let this thing come through.
Yeah.
But Black Widow didn't either, though, did they?
I don't know, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I think Black Widow, I think I read an article that said Black Widow also didn't, Shang-Chi didn't, and apparently Eternals might not either. So, like, Spider-Man's going to be the first one.
Wow.
So it is really important to keep that, like, you know, we're talking about those worldwide box office numbers. It's like China's like such a massive market. They make, you know, bank from China. That's why they bend over backwards to try and get in there.
Yeah.
You know, still mind blowing that you have a country as big as China, and like you have to check with the government to see if your movie can get released there, and they only let like 25% of, you know, foreign movies in a year. Like,
Yeah,
that's insanity.
Yeah,
for me,
it's nuts, and especially with the nature of this film as well. Like, you know, you think they would want it in, but as we kind of know, like they've been nitpicking at this film a lot. You know, breaking it down, not liking the actors and actresses that have been picked for it and all that sort of thing. So I'm not really surprised at all that this movie is not being shown over there.
Well, especially with, you know, it's like, would we want to see a movie where I don't know, I feel like it's really like tiptoeing thin ice. Like, it's a lot of Americans representing their culture, Asian culture, and they probably won't like that, you know?
Yeah, that's fair.
I really don't know when it comes to that. Like, you know, I know they made, you know, comments, but who's they over there? Like, in terms of like the Chinese media,
what was
like
the name of the dragon supposed to be again?
Well, the main,
is it?
yeah, with, you know, obvious stereotype there that we've gone away from. But you know, they were talking about the main actor. He's not like the aesthetic of the male that they like to portray over there. In China, and like I don't know who's saying that. Like, is that actually the public? Is that like Chinese media? Is that just internet shit posters? Like, I don't know anything about that, so it's hard to actually.
I think it's the media. I think it's the media, like, you know, like their versions of like TMZ and shit. Like, you know, that's my understanding of it when you're watching these interviews with Kevin Feige getting roasted by these journalists over there, and it's just like, you know, we don't like this, we don't like that, and I presume it's like their versions of like BuzzFeed and stuff like that, getting feedback from all their like readers and viewers and stuff, like. But yeah, I don't know. I like, you know, you would think that it would be kind of received very similarly to how Black Panther was, in a very positive way, of course. And like, you know, some people have said, from what I've seen, that it does do that for them. You know, that it's an amazing representation, and some people aren't liking it. So I don't know. For me, I just got to see it myself, and I know I'm gonna like it, but just how much I'm gonna like it. I might have to go see it more than once.
I've heard that the Chinese, the actual written, the actual dialogue they say in the movie is like way better than the subtitles that we got for like English.
Yeah.
Like in one of them, like this is how cool it is. They're like, you guys don't even know how like the nuance that they couldn't capture in English. They're like in one of the lines, one of the characters talking about like how, they've been alive so much longer than someone else. He's like, and what the person actually says in the movie, what he actually speaks is, I've ate more salt in my life than you've had meals. I'm like, oh my God, that's so awesome.
That is amazing.
That's such a good line. So, I don't know. I hope it is. I think it's I don't know how much of a representation it is of the Chinese culture. I think it's a great representation for like American Chinese, not even American Chinese. I don't know their heritage or where they're from, but like just the Asian cultures in America and what they do.
Yeah.
There's a lot of good moments in the film, especially near the beginning where they're talking about, they make comments on that stuff, and it feels real. It feels authentic. It feels like it was made by Asian Americans and written by them. I don't know if it was or not, but it felt authentic and lived in. So
what was your opinion on the female co-star? I don't know her actual name.
Awkwafina?
Yeah.
She's hilarious.
Yeah.
She's great.
Not terrible.
I heard a kind of review, and they were saying that by the end of or kind of like towards the end of the movie, they were kind of like she was a bit worn out. It's like, why is she still here? The comedic kind of value of her had been like received very well, but they kind of milked the character. Maybe like, does she actually travel to Asia with him or something? And that they were just kind of like, why did she not stay in America or something?
Sometimes you see those people that have a trailer attached to the back of their vehicle, even when they're not hauling around stuff, when it's not being useful. For a long part of the movie, the trailer's useful, man.
Yeah.
And then somewhere towards the end, it's just like, all right, at this point, why are you still here? I'm not hauling anything around. What is the point of this? So,
I would have to say that the humor was there. But I also felt like they left the humor over time, which helped pad the way for her to kind of be an actual like side character and not just the comedic relief.
Yeah.
Which is nice. I don't think she went over the top. I think that she had a good, like, it coasted really well in my opinion. I really think that she was a lot more likable than I had originally put my expectations to. So I give her that. Yeah. I don't really think she's annoying. She kind of, she has her moments, and that's one of the things. I can't wait for you to watch this, by the way. Like this, like it's so hard to like keep it in.
Yeah.
I would say that like she is like the comedy in the movie. But then there's a point where they transition her away from being the comedic element and they find other ways for the comedy to come through. And so that kind of feels weird. It kind of doesn't feel like the norm that we're used to in these types of movies, where it's like you have the character who's like the comic relief and they're the comic relief from the beginning to end. And she kind of like takes a back seat to that and like finds other ways to grow as a character. But I'm not the biggest fan of Awkwafina. I've literally only watched like 2 things with her in it, and this is one of them. She doesn't like ruin movies for me, but she doesn't, add the best elements to the movie either.
What else was she in? Sorry.
I know she was in in that one movie, The Last Dragon, the animated movie.
Okay.
She ruined that movie for me. I don't think she fit the character at all.
Okay.
She voiced the dragon in that, and I felt like it was such a miscast.
Right. Okay.
And oh man, I think it might be the director too. A lot of this movie and I need to go rewatch it because this movie just felt slightly off for me. And I don't know why, but it just felt like a lot of the editing was just slightly off. Like everything just kind of felt a little bit off time, off key. And I think that comes down to the director. I don't think the director did the best job. I think if you really break this movie down, it kind of feels a little weird. Where we see Wong in the trailer, and so Wong has a scene around the scene in the trailer, And like even Wong, who's one of my favorite characters, still doesn't. This is my like least favorite version of Wong or appearance of Wong, just because I just don't think that the director knows how to direct people, and I think that carries over to Shang-Chi, who I felt like got misdirected, and I feel like that's why his dad, who gave the best performance in the whole movie, he's a seasoned actor, like he'll do what he wants, and he delivers this performance. So I think everything in this movie that I have a problem with comes down to the director, honestly.
I've definitely heard that the Mandarin, like the real Mandarin, like absolutely steals the show, like so. And I was not going to be surprised at all that was going to be a fact, like yeah, like I've heard what's the main actor's name, Simu Lee or something, isn't it? Is that his real name? Yeah, like I from what I've heard, I heard he does a really good job in the movie, and a lot of people seem to be very excited to see more of him in the MCU, and I think we're definitely going to see a lot more of him going forward. Like I'd love to see him maybe do something with the likes of like Iron Fist or Daredevil, that sort of thing, like get into the whole kind of martial arts side of things. Like I think it'd be really fucking cool. But yeah, again, I can't really say anything right now.
Yeah, to be completely honest, like Simu Lee, like I think they should have it's like what Drunky and Kyle said before. It's like he didn't really get much for his name being on the box office. Like we needed more of him. And I feel like he could have really shined had they put more emphasis on him.
Yeah. And I don't know, man. There's a thing with like modern actors that like I just don't get. Some people have it, some don't. But a lot of them are like lacking presence. It's either in their voice or in the way they hold themselves on screen or something. And this is a problem I have with like Oscar Isaac, who's playing Moon Knight. And then I'm watching the trailers of Dune, and like he just doesn't feel like he has presence and like gravitas in his voice when he's acting. And again, I bring it back to the father. Like when he shows up into a scene, he like shows up in a scene. Like he's there.
Like Voldemort, bro.
He commands his voice. And I just think it's a thing with kind of more modern actors and stuff where they just have less of command over like their voice and their training, and like they just do the best job. And I feel like people just have really bad expectations of movies. Like so when they say he does a great job in this movie, he does do a good job, but like he has a lot of room to improve, I think, in like being a leading role and being a leading man in a movie and like grabbing that screen and pulling you in. Like it's just not like it was in the 2000s or the 90s or the like he's lacking something.
Does he?
I would say he got all the choreography down, but I'm sure most of that's a stuntman anyway, so it's like
I think he does a lot of martial arts, honestly.
Well, so then that's him. He did great.
Answer me this: does he get another movie? Is there a Shang-Chi too?
Cool. Yes. Cool.
Oh,
yeah. There's going to be one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's like
the credit scenes are like fire. They're fire, bro. If those are setting up the second, if those end credit scenes are setting up his second movie, it's like I'm there. Like yes.
Excellent.
So
definitely the choreography in the movie was spectacular.
Yeah.
There were moments where like I was just like, oh Jesus. Yeah. It was nuts.
So
I would say
go ahead.
I'm sorry.
No, you go ahead. Sorry. Please.
I would just say like with the choreography, I think the reason Kyle's got me messed up on the word. How dare you?
Choreography.
Yeah, I think the reason it shows up or like people are really excited walking out of this movie is because like the last 30 minutes of this film are fire. Like they are amazing. They're huge. The graphics going on, the visual effects are over the top. All the elements they're pulling together, the martial arts at the end. Like the movie lands really, really well at the end, and I think that's what people are walking out on a high. And I think it's the same thing that happened kind of with Captain Marvel and Rise of Skywalker or whatever. Like the walking out, like, the excitement's high, and I think once that fades a little bit, and you go back and like feel like the middle of the movie is kind of like, ugh. But this movie lands at the very end. Like it's one of the best 30 minutes in the MCU, I think.
Holy.
Pound for pound.
They do a mid-credit scene and a post-credit scene.
There's two,
Yes.
There's
right?
two in credit
Yeah,
scene.
yeah.
Fuck, I left early. I didn't see the post.
Oh my god, Kyle, get off this podcast right now. You actually left early.
Bro,
You walked out before the lights fucking came on.
Oh, no, dude.
DOD, bro.
Disconnected.
Oh,
Bro,
my-
listen, I had some rumble in the tumble. I couldn't be sticking around
Too much
long,
nacho
you know what I'm
cheese?
saying? Listen,
Bro,
they
I'm
put a
so-
lot of butter on that popcorn.
I'm so upset with you
I
right now,
saw the
Kyle.
mid credits. I saw the mid credits, and I was like, "Listen, worst case, I can get anything else on YouTube, but like, also worst case, I'm gonna have to get some new pants. This is gonna be a bad ride home." So,
The second post-credit scene is setting up Shang-Chi 2. That's all you missed.
Okay. So
Okay.
Yeah,
that's
I
not
agree
really,
with
that's
that.
not
One's
that's
really
not that
setting the
important,
next
eh?
you
No,
know,
well,
I mean, I saw
well,
the
to be
first one. The first one made me not want to stay for anything past the second one. If you guys have seen the first one, you understand why. And I was just like, parts of the first, like the mid credit scene, I was like, this is kind of fucking whack. I'm going now. I gotta take a dump.
Parts in the
Max-
mid-credit scene, did you say
Max,
that?
Max in the chat, fucking bro, shit yourself. I probably would as well. I
Yeah,
probably
bro.
would too.
Did you have an extra large cup on you?
Hashtag priorities. Oh Jesus, bro.
Bro,
Shit in a bucket.
I ain't getting. Listen, there's some weird charges that come with that.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'll poop in a pillowcase, but I won't poop in a movie theater. I'll tell you that.
You
that's
stay away from my pillows, sir.
that's not what
Where'd
you
you
want to
bring
go
the
viral for. That's for sure. Oh my god, that's hilarious, dude. Absolutely
Bro,
hilarious.
if someone records you doing that, Kyle, shout out the podcast. That's all I want you to do.
Yeah.
It's going viral.
Yo, we're gonna talk about this on the podcast tonight.
I mean, to be completely fair though, like that the first set of credit scene that was great. I enjoyed it. Yeah. Oh yeah. And I really like honestly I believe that after credits was just as good because of the way that it just set it up and it's like, oh man, I like the way it kind of just set it.
So
I like where your heart's at. I can't go along with you on that one.
No, I get it.
So-
Because it is one of those moments of like, oh, okay. You know, it was expected, but at the same time I was like, you know what? Okay.
Well, the first credit scene is just it is that MCU credit scene that's connects it to like the broader
The
MCU.
broad, yes.
Yeah, and that's what's just fucking rad, man.
Yeah.
that's what I was expecting. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So answer me this and say no more. But obviously we know we get Abomination. Is there any other kind of really big, like, well, sorry, not really big, but like well-known cameos in the movie that we don't know about? Yes or no? No, obviously hints or anything, but
In the credit scene.
and the credit scenes, okay,
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's probably
Well-
to be expected.
There is one, but it's minor. It's more of like, oh, that's cool.
Okay,
hold on.
okay.
It's very minor. Like if Drunky,
Oh,
if you didn't, yeah, I'm pretty sure you could remember.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
It's minor.
Got it. There's some cool stuff going on in the background too. Like if you like really in the background connecting the movie, some like callbacks to the comics and stuff.
Mhm.
You know, like there's a hidden cameo, not really hidden, but you know, it's for a character called like Sumo.
Yeah,
Who's like a really interesting comic book character who like he's a big dude. He like crushes bones into powder. And so they kind of make like a reference to him, like, you know, there's a kind of a reference character there. And that was
Right,
cool.
okay.
So that type of
Epic.
stuff.
What'd you think of Abomination, Alex?
Interesting way that they went with it. Don't want to go into detail.
thank you.
Would you
Because-
like to see him again? Can I just ask that? Would you like to see him again?
Of course.
In the way
I
that
won't-
they did him?
Yeah, of course. I want to know what direction they're going with this.
What was the actor who played him in the movie again?
Eli Roth.
Eli Roth. Was he in the movie, Eli Roth? Or is it just
No.
Abomination the whole time? Like it's not, you don't see him like transform or anything. He's just constantly Abomination.
Just A-bomb, just a better shot at A-bomb.
Okay.
You get to see.
Cool. Nice. Okay. Well, like, look, I don't really think there's
I'll
much
say
else
that-
we can say about the movie without kind of spoiling stuff. But
I think that they put Abomination in there. I'm just gonna say that.
Like Drunky, I wasn't gonna say it.
Should have been in She-Hulk. Should have been
I
in
just
She-Hulk
want-
and given him more.
I honestly just wanted Finto to go in there and
My bad.
just, yeah. No, like it's like, but I agree, Drunky. I 100% agree.
They shouldn't have put
He
Abomination in.
he didn't need to be in there.
Yeah,
Save him for She-Hulk or something more meaningful.
yeah. See, I don't
You
know.
have
Like,
Abomination and Wong in the trailers. You know they're there, right? Like that's not a spoiler.
yeah,
Like you know
Mhm.
they're
Of course.
there because of the trailer.
yeah, true.
And their scene and their connection to the movie
It's nothing.
just doesn't feel worth it.
Yeah.
In the way
What?
that like in Thor Ragnarok, where they bring Doctor Strange in, and he has like a
Yeah,
not like he has a part that like moves the plot along, right?
yeah.
That's what I want. That is not what we get. Like
Okay.
it's
Right.
just so that's I there's no spoilers there. It's just that's like trailer information basically.
Yeah.
Yep.
So-
yeah.
Alright.
That's-
So
that's-
first episode of What If that we missed, you guys.
So yeah, episode 3 of What If was that was the episode with all of the Avengers dying, right?
What if the
Oh yeah, if we lost our
Nothing.
mightiest heroes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What did you guys think of this episode?
I really like that Hulk turned into a big green cloud. That was hilarious.
I hated this episode, dude.
What I liked about
Yeah.
the Hulk parts of this episode was the fact that they just like used Mark Ruffalo on the Edward Norton scenes. I thought it was very cheeky.
And they had the old
Yes.
school. They had the old school Ross too. They had the
Yeah, it
old
was-
school depiction of Ross.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was like those were just like direct copies straight out of Edward
yep.
Norton's movie, and yeah,
Even the
there's
hairstyle was
everything. It was the
like-
exact same, bro. But they just had Ruffalo doing all the voice. I was like, how
And the
dare
way
they?
the way they killed him is like, bro, this is more accurate than they. This isn't a what if. This is true shit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I thought
Can
that
I
was
just-
kind of funny.
I've had this idea since the first What If. Do you think they're just using the models they already have from these movies, and that's
Yeah.
why it's so easy for them?
Of course,
Like,
Yeah.
they have all these 3D models already made, so let's just go with it.
yeah. My girlfriend
They
said
have
that
like
the
they're
second.
using like lidar or some shit. Probably they have some probably fancy lidar technology where they just go and.
My girlfriend
Uh,
said this as well. Like, you know, it's like they're just like copying the exact like plots and storylines from the original movies and everything, and just changing very slight things. I'd say it's very little work in the writers' room. Like, you know, it's just
Yeah.
Yeah.
you know, it's very simple to say, you know, well, what if like Steve Rogers doesn't get the serum but Peggy gets it instead? Go, you know.
Yeah.
And I just think, yeah, it seemed like a lot of it seems kind of lazy. This episode for me, it was kind of interesting to see who the villain was in the end. I was convinced it was Loki watching it, and then it, like, you know, it turns out to be a kind of twisted version of Pym, who becomes the Yellow Jacket himself, right? So
Yeah.
it's like, I thought that was kind of cool, but at the same time, you know, it was just one of those things where I was like, oh yeah, that was kind of cool. Doesn't mean anything.
was
It's kind of
very
just a wash
forgettable,
away,
right?
and yeah,
Like
I don't
when I was like prepping for this podcast today, I was like, oh wait, like I think you tweeted out or the Marvelous Chats Twitter. By the way, go follow Marvelous Chats on Twitter if you haven't.
yes,
Uh,
please. At
yes.
Marvelous Chats.
Marvelous Chats.
It's just like you tweeted out. We were talking about episode 3. And I was like, wait, we're talking about 2 episodes of What If? I was like, did I miss one? Did I miss one? Like
Yeah.
I haven't
I
watched
know, bro.
I
Exactly.
totally forgot about this one.
Yeah.
Over like a week afterwards. It's a very forgettable episode. I don't like these types of episodes in any kind of storytelling where it's like, hey, here's the main villain that we find out about in the last minute of the thing, and
Yeah.
now he's gone. Like it's
Yeah.
just like,
Drunky, I need you to grab Mjolnir for me really quick.
can I what?
Can
Grab.
you grab
Mew Mew.
Mjolnir? Mew for me real quick.
Mjolnir?
Yeah. Can you
Yeah,
tell
Mew
me
Mew.
why the fuck? Can you tell me why the fuck Thor
He is
dies
worthy.
to an arrow?
Like
To an arrow? He dies to one arrow? Thor? God of Thunder?
Well, isn't
No,
he
but
meant
he gets all
isn't he
his-
meant to be human at that point? Like he's been kind of
I don't
sorry,
care, dude.
he's not human.
Even
but he's
human
been
form.
stripped of his power.
I bet that same arrow hits Chris Hemsworth in real life and he's fucking filming a movie 2 weeks later. He's a masculine, beautiful angel of a human. Don't tell me he's dying to one arrow.
Max Luthor. I
mean-
mean, it was right in the heart, Kyle.
Like I don't think our Asgardians have like super skin, do they? Like
He's
you know,
got
he's
pectorals. His pectoral, dude, he flexes the pectoral before it comes in there. That stops 50% of the velocity.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean,
Like,
does Clint actually have the ability to land an arrow into an Asgardian god's chest, and
Oh,
it
yeah.
does
Well, I mean,
As a misfire?
it's not Clint shooting
It's a
it. That's what I'm
misfire.
saying.
but
It's a misfire. So
but it's
misfires aren't as accurate as actual fires because you didn't
For
have
you,
the
not
intention
Hawkeye,
to
sir,
shoot.
okay.
it's
I
still a
can talk
human.
It kind of brings
It's still a human.
it kind of brings me back to the whole thing where, you know, Odin says to Thor, you know, the hammer wasn't your power. It's just it harnesses your power or control, like, you know, or filters it or whatever. Like the power comes from you. But when he takes the hammer off him in the first movie, you're led to believe that it strips his power away. So I don't know. I like, for me, it doesn't really add up, because when you're watching Thor 1, you're kind of led to believe that he is mortal being dropped on Earth. So in that sense, I would think that the what if death would make sense. But then later on in the kind of timeline, you realize that actually he is all powerful and the power comes from him. It's not from the hammer. So it's like, what? Which way is it? Like, you know,
Devil's advocate against myself. In that situation, he hasn't broke the spell that his father cast, where he said, "Make sure that you're worthy." Like, he hasn't proven worthy yet. So
he's human.
That's he's in that. Yeah, that's what I'm. Did that spell with this without? I don't know.
Yeah.
To me, without the hammer, before he ever had the hammer, he was still a god of like killing people and stuff. Like,
So
he's not going down to an arrow.
Do you think Odin cast like magic on him and then basically?
Yeah, that'd be the only thing I would say was that spell like stripped him.
him.
Yeah, stripped his mantle and put his mantle into the hammer, and then upon picking it up.
This is where it comes from me. I think that before Thor 1, anybody could pick up Mjolnir, and it was just Thor's weapon of choice. Like, it was his weapon. It was made for him. It was given to him by Odin. And then Odin puts the spell on Mjolnir that only people who are worthy can pick it up after that point.
Yeah.
And then I think that we go to Ragnarok, where the power has always been in Thor, but it's like he didn't believe in himself, so it wasn't there. So Ragnarok is about, you know, exploring the idea and letting Thor know that, like, it's always been with him. You just haven't recognized that that power is within you, it's not within the hammer.
Yeah.
And so I think that's where they come down to the powers in this thing. But I just don't know if, like, even if Thor, with all his might, whatever, and now if he gets hit by an arrow, does it pierce him? I don't think we've ever established, like, you know, really tough skin with the Asgardians. You know, they get stabbed all the time. There's a lot of fight scenes where Asgardians go down, and maybe this just makes Thor even more impressive because, like, yeah, a bullet could kill Thor, a arrow could kill Thor. He's just that good. He, like, stops them all, and he wears armor all the time. Like, he's wearing armor throughout the movies.
True.
It's not like he just goes bearskin, you know?
Well, look at Hela, like, destroying every Asgardian with all those blades.
Yeah. So I think Hawkeye could kill him. I think that an arrow to the heart could kill Thor. I just don't think that he's ever been put in that position.
Yeah, I mean, it like
too late for Clint's redemption arc.
Every time I hear Clint, I think we're talking about Clint Masterflex. Just
Clint Masterflex.
It's the only Clint I know. Like, Clint is not a name over here at all. There's no Clints in Ireland, so anytime I hear Clint, I'm like, Clint?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. A Hawkeye might as well have been played by Clint Masterflex because he ain't fucking killing Thor.
We need to ask him about Budapest.
We need to ask Clint about Budapest next time he's in the chat. Next time he's in the chat, we all just say, "Hey, Clint, what happened to Budapest? Tell us the real story."
To me, this with the Loki show, they are disrespecting gods. Okay, yeah. These are actual, literal gods. Everyone else has like superpowers, radioactive spill, a Pokemon bit them, whatever the fuck. These are gods. Okay, so I don't know, thousands of year gods, put some more respect on him. He ain't going down to an arrow. He didn't live thousands of years in all of his battles because he couldn't take an arrow.
Yeah. Like, I think doesn't Thor say he was like 1500 years old? Then in Loki, he's like, they're talking about like DB Cooper, which was like the 1960s, and then it's like, oh, I was young and foolish. It's like, what? What do you mean? What do you mean by that?
Right.
How young? Like, you were 1500 years old. Like, what's 30 years to you? Nothing. That line pissed me off.
The funniest thing though is that if you were to take, because if you think about this is TV and movie based logic. If you were to take comic book logic into this situation, Thor is going to come back. because Thor can't die. Thor will not die. Like if you kill him, he just comes back in Asgard.
Yeah.
Loki, the same thing. He dies, he comes back in Asgard. Because Asgard is not destroyed, he will come back. Same thing with Hulk. The reason why Hulk exists is because of the Green Door, which I think it was provided by the one below all. And so because of the deal that was because of the Green Door, he passed through, he basically died and came back again as Hulk. And so that moment where he died, he would essentially have to go through the Green Door again and he'll come back. So in a sense, Thor and Hulk are not dead. The humans, however, I think they're gone. Like there's no way for them to bring them back.
Listen, the Green Door, that's us.
Like if Thor couldn't be penetrated by Arrow, he wouldn't be wearing armor. Like he wears armor all the time. He wears like full body armor.
Right.
Like he has scale going down his arms. You know what I mean?
That's an aesthetic, okay, pal.
Okay.
You need to listen. You have Mjolnir right next to you. You need to be on our side here. What are you fighting against?
I think this makes him more impressive, bro. I think this makes him the mightiest Avenger. He's going up against all these aliens and stuff, and like he could die like the rest of us by an arrow.
If he was the mightiest Avenger, then both Vision and Cap would have picked up the hammer.
But
That's two.
But Kyle, this is why I can agree with Drunky though, because like for the fact that Thor would just revive back in Asgard. Other than that, like if he just is permanently dead, that's kind of weird. It's just so strange to think of it that way though. The only reason why I say I think the Arrow thing is a bit of a weird situation is I know Clint is very good with the bow and arrow, and he's basically a master archer, but
by the nature of a misfire.
Yeah, it's a misfire too. So it wasn't like it didn't seem like he. I don't know how far back he was trying to pull before he looses the arrow. Like, isn't it that once you're ready to fire, you kind of pull back a little bit harder, and then let it loose, or is it
with a compound bow? Like the pressure is in pulling it back, but once you actually sit it in place,
you hit the threshold.
There's no pressure in it. You can hold it there for hours. There's no pressure in it at all.
Gotcha.
It's you just then let go of it.
I just think they could have done something better. Kill him more better.
I thought the whole thing was Loki, and I thought that would have made a lot of sense. Like Loki's like being his mischievous self and sneaking around and causing trips.
It would have been cool to have maybe him and Iron Man fight somehow, and then they kind of like kill each other type thing, like and maybe they just have Hank being the puppeteer instead of like through the injection for Iron Man, and that would have been cool. I just you don't take Thor down with an arrow. At least the Hulk fucking exploded. At least the Hulk exploded from the inside out.
That was kind of crazy. Yeah.
I mean, like the whole Hank situation was a bit weird. It was a bit off-putting. I didn't necessarily like it. I think for a situation like this, for it to be such an inside job from an actual hero turned villain kind of situation, I think you need more than 30 minutes. You need there wasn't really much background that we could get that says like that, like, because when you do some sort of stuff like this, yes, you don't want the reveal to be like noticeable, like straight up, but at the same time, you want to make it kind of like hints here and there. And it was very minor. Like it was
rushed in the last 10 minutes.
Yeah. Like you kind of got the hint, like at the last 10 minutes of the show. And then it was like, all right, figure it out. And it's like, oh, Jesus, who is it?
All it has to do with Hope. And then 2 minutes later, you have the whole story. You have the climax. And then you have the good one-liner by Nick. Like, she'll never be forgotten. We honor her. Like,
yeah, like if we had seen some sort of past situation where, Hope was chosen on a mission and she died, then it would give us a bit more of like a hint of like, oh, maybe Scott was ordered to kill these guys because, it still would have been some sort of mystery behind it.
I don't remember. Was there a setup for another episode on this one, like the other ones?
I don't think so. I think a couple of
Okay.
them. I think a couple of them are going to be like one shots, and then
Okay.
some of the
That's-
bigger
I-
some of the bigger characters will kind of cross into like the Avengers episodes. So like,
Okay, I didn't say I didn't recall that.
I think
Just
from
felt boring overall too. Like it's one
Yeah.
of those like what if things. It's just like it feels boring, bro.
yeah,
it really
was-
did.
There was no kind of reward for it. It was just kind of like, oh, cool, it's Pym. That was kind of interesting. I didn't see that twist coming. Pym would have been the last person I would have suspected doing this.
Right.
Like I was fully thinking it was Loki the entire time, and then obviously because you think like when you see in the promos that like Loki takes over Earth and stuff, and then like that whole thing just kind of happens in like a transition from scene to scene. It's like, oh yeah, now Loki like is running the entire Earth. They just gave Earth over to him, and it's like, oh okay,
Yeah.
cool.
I thought we were gonna see the President Loki again from
Yeah.
the show, like in the cartoon. I was like, if they like redo that scene, that'd be funny.
For sure.
How does
All right,
how
let's
does
move to the friggin' next, the God episode.
How did tell me real quick though? I can't remember because I watched it. I feel like I watched it a month ago. But how did Black Widow die again?
she got beat
She
up?
died. She just got beat up. She's
Oh.
like, she like walked in there and it was like invisible punches hitting her, and then she realized, like as she was getting the research,
Yeah.
that's all it has to do with hope. So
I felt
she
kind of
just-
uncomfortable watching her get beaten to death. Like with
Oh,
everything
no
going
worries.
on in real life right now.
Again,
I'm like, oh
It
Jesus.
doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense either because in Black Widow the movie, she falls 7 stories onto like metal pillars and walks away from it chill. So I guess she can just die to random punches now, and she gets car rockets
Well, like,
exploded
aren't-
underneath it.
when like Ant-Man is like tiny, like aren't his punches like bullets? Wasn't that what was said in the movie? So like,
Yeah.
if you're getting punched around by an Ant-Man, you're gonna die, like for sure.
I don't know. All I know is she fell 7 stories in the movie and walked it off, bro.
Yeah, but that's
that would be for
ScarJo.
her Disney lawsuit. So no.
Yeah, that- now she's dead in 2. Yeah, I don't know. Like, the episode was kind of, it was kind of like, yeah, it was okay. But it was definitely the worst. It was definitely the worst one I've seen so far.
Yeah.
And then they followed it up with the best one that they've done.
I gotta say, yeah, to go directly into episode 4. Like, I think episode 4, I actually turned to my girlfriend after the second it finished, and I was like, wow, that was actually crazy, that episode. Like, it was so good,
Mhm.
so
Same
well.
director. For
I
all
I
episodes.
teared up.
Yeah,
I teared up.
So well written. Just classic kind of Groundhog Day kind of vibes, like, and where it's just like he's just going through there was a bit of comedy in it that was very fucking dark.
We'll
and
mention
then-
the title real quick. The title of this episode, what we're talking about right now, is "What if Doctor Strange lost his heart instead of his hands?"
yeah,
So
yeah, it's fantastic.
into
I
that.
just I loved. It looked like Stephen Strange. Benedict Cumberbatch, I thought did a very good performance. I wasn't crazy on how they drew Rachel McAdams. I didn't think she looked like herself at all.
yeah, it did not look like her. I forgot it was Rachel McAdams.
Yeah, it threw me
You know
off.
why? They never had to create a 3D model for her in the movies,
Yeah, that's fair.
so they didn't have a good render.
Yeah.
She wasn't actually in the car crash in the movie, was she?
No,
No, she wasn't even in the
Okay.
car or anything. So I
you're
loved
just in the hospital.
I loved how they kind of, were shooting all the scenes in the Lamborghini and stuff like that. I thought it was fantastic. I don't know, like, for me, it was kind of like, obviously, when it didn't make sense to me why he would become the Sorcerer Supreme would be the only thing, like, after, her dying, I don't know, would that force you to
It's-
become the Sorcerer
okay, here's-
Supreme? I don't really
Yeah.
know.
Okay, you've seen Star Wars, bro. Come on, you know the answer is yes.
I don't know. It's
To
just
bring her back.
I did like with the character that he is, the person that he is, it makes a lot more sense. Obviously, he's the number one surgeon. He loses his hands. He's gonna do absolutely
Yeah.
anything to get his hands back. That makes sense to me. I'm like,
I think they
his
they
girlfriend
trained the
dying.
narcissism.
Yeah, I know,
Yeah,
I know what they're doing, but it just for me, it just didn't make as
Yeah.
much sense that he would go through everything that he went through to get his hands back, to get her back, because it's like,
Mhm.
isn't
Well, if
he
you're
the
not a
Sorcerer Supreme
narcissist-
for years before he actually
Well,
decides to use the time stone? I don't know. It's just kind of
What? I think they just traded his narcissism, his love for himself, to a love for another. And what we got in the actual canon is his love for himself is he's the best fucking surgeon out there. And the thing that makes him that are his hands. He loses his hands. So he loves the idea of being the best surgeon, being the best doctor. And now that he can't be that, that's what drives him in the movie. Now trade that love for herself to another, I think it makes sense.
I think you could take it another direction too with that, where like whether it's his hand or his heart, right? That's what he needs to fix. Like that's the thing that's broken that he needs to fix. But what really set him off and changed him as a character and broke him down was the car crash itself, because that's the first time in his life where he has experienced actual loss, not winning, not coming out on top. It was such a fundamental shift to his psyche. I think it's the car accident that you could argue is the thing that really is defining Doctor Strange, not what he kind of loses during the car accident, but the car accident himself breaks him down mentally and breaks his confidence. And the story
and they made it his fault too.
It's his, like something he didn't turn out right? Like it's his loss of confidence, and Doctor Strange is kind of a movie about him regaining his confidence. And through, in the movie it's his hands, and this is to repair his heart or whatever. And I think that's just what he has fixed. I think it's the car accident that's the catalyst for his character.
Yeah, and I think that's what's funny too, is every time, no matter what he does, it's always his fault. He takes a different route, doesn't matter. He's driving, and then he lets her drive. He doesn't. No matter what in the Groundhog Day segment of it, like Drunkie's saying, everything is leading back to kind of his fault.
Yeah, no, that whole part is beautiful to me, but it's just the initial training to become Strange. To me, I just thought was a little strange, if that makes sense. It's kind of like, okay, bro, you lost your girlfriend. It's tragic, of course. Are you going to go traveling halfway around the world to learn the mystic arts and all this stuff? Like, to then, in years to come, turn around and say, actually, I have a time stone here. I'm going to try and go back and save her. Like, that was never part of his plan. Like, how could he come to the conclusion, I'm going to learn the mystic arts to then somehow be able to turn back time to save her life? Like, that was never on the cards. Whereas he meets somebody who has a miracle fucking healing process and heals his back, and it's like, shit, I can do this from my hands. That makes sense. That's the point I'm trying to make. But everything else about the episode, I fucking loved every minute of it. It was fantastic.
Well, Finto, that same situation that you just mentioned right now for his hands, I mean, what's to say that someone who has a broken heart doesn't need that to be mended as well?
True.
And so he still meets the same guy, and he's like, I understand that no part of you on the outside is broken, but what about your inside? Yeah, of course, you're broken from the inside. So,
fair point, yeah. 100%.
And the idea behind, the Ancient One, besides the learning the mystic arts, is learning to love oneself. And learning to understand oneself, and learning to understand the full potential of oneself. So it would still progress in that way. That guy would still push him to become to go and search for the Ancient One and become the Sorcerer Supreme. In which case, we would still get Mordo and stuff like that. But since he decided to take a different turn, and because his heart wasn't in the right place, because it still wasn't mended properly, seeing that time stone, seeing the ability to change an apple from eaten to rotten to back to normal, it's amazing. And to think that you could bring someone back to life, possibly through just going back in time itself, would have been awesome for him. But because it's inevitable, and he has to be that crash, just like Drunky said, it's integral to the point of him becoming the Sorcerer Supreme, no matter what. And then it turns out even further as you go into the story, that it's not just the car crash anymore. It's no matter which way you change it, you have to have your heart broken to get to that point.
True. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it's amazing.
Yeah,
because any one of us would who lost a loved one would love to go back and figure out a way to bring them back.
True.
And that I think that's what makes this story so believable and so close to the heart. You lose someone you wish you could do whatever it takes to get them back, and it really shows. And I'm really glad. Just the final thing is, I'm really glad that it ended on a bad note, because had it ended in a way where like it was emerging, and then things just switched back, and he's like, "What am I doing?" kind of situation. Like that would have been a really big cop out. This ending just hit it so hard, and was like,
Yeah.
You messed up.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Do you think they're introducing this idea of an absolute point prior to? So, do you think that carries over into the movies?
Yeah, I
these
think
absolute point
I
moments?
think we definitely see a couple of more absolute points. I think we viewed that episode for a reason. I think that was to teach people something, that about absolute points, and
And I think like the snap wall was an absolute point already, because they didn't undo the snap. They just went back and did their own snap. Like they couldn't stop the OG snap itself. That's an absolute point. So they had to do. So I think we've had other absolute points.
Sure.
100%.
Can I say something about the snap?
Go for it.
He doesn't need to snap to make it work. I think
Can
they
he not
just
think about it, or like
he could just do
anything.
this or whatever, just power it, and then it's done.
Yeah,
he could have done
double fingers.
He could have done that. He totally could have done that, and it would have still worked. It's just
the old school wrestling suck it move.
It just became this big like situation, because in the comics, yes, he snaps his finger and half the population, or I don't remember how much of the population he wiped.
All life.
It was still 50% in the comics,
it was
right?
from a line, wasn't it? From a line that he said, "I could do this in a snap of my fingers."
I think
or whatever.
in the movie, I think Gamora says it. She's like, if he gets all the stones, he can wipe out half of existence in the snap of his fingers. And then, he just does the snap, and then it's referred to as the snap, that's it. I think if she didn't have that line, you wouldn't even think twice about it. Would we even call it the snap? We probably would, but it wouldn't even be thought about.
Right. But at the same time, it's like, okay, so clearly you had some comic book people tell the story writers about the snap, and then the story writers are like, 100%, go 100%, snap, everybody snaps. Everybody, like, even like Hulk snapped. Iron Man snapped. Like, everybody's gonna snap. Screw it. We're all snapping.
Yeah.
It becomes the visual language of it, though.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that's the visual language behind the huge event. And like, I think that it doesn't read as well if you change that, or they do something else, hit a button, or they think about it. It just doesn't hit home as hard as
you
like
have to
snap.
have the lead up to the physical snap.
Yeah,
true.
Like, I think it's a screenwriting thing that they decided to keep it. And like, everyone has to snap. That's how you activate this gauntlet in the movies, because like it's such a good moment. Like,
yeah.
Just that last one with Robert Downey Jr. is just so fucking good. He's just sitting there, and it's like it's just power it up, and then it's just like, I am Iron Man. Boom. It's just fucking brilliant.
And I agree with you wholeheartedly. Thanos' snap and Iron Man snap, fantastic. I still think it didn't need to be necessary for anybody else to snap. Seeing Hulk do it, it's like it just felt lame. It just really did.
They didn't treat your boy right, did they?
Dude, they made him the lamest dude ever.
Yeah, I don't think I think I've talked about this before, but I don't think he should have been the one to snap at all. You should have let Thor do it.
Well, that's what bothers me the most, and you see it again in this episode about Doctor Strange when Jesus. You like that? It's not in Doctor Strange. Sorry. It's the idea that like it's like you see it with his arm.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, yeah, he did the snap. They identified it as gamma radiation from the Infinity Stone.
Yeah.
Like, do they not remember that Hulk is empowered by gamma radiation itself? And do they not?
Stones, though.
But if they had told me, okay, this is all cosmic energy. This is not based upon gamma radiation. This is based on cosmic energy. Then I would have totally agreed and said, you know what? That cosmic energy made his arm irreversible to like fix, because it's
you're made up of 60% water, okay?
I know.
a water taking water on you. You might go down a little bit.
Yeah, I know. We can die of water poisoning. I get it.
Going back to What If though, I will say this about this episode: like, it's actually the first What If episode I actually enjoyed in any capacity. And I think a lot of it comes back to they actually just gave time in the editing to kind of have a little breathing room with all the scenes where they can have some like establishing shots, they can have some dialogue moments hang a little bit. It's not this constant rush to get to the next thing.
Yeah.
And I think it just makes it a really good episode. If you go to like the times or whatever, I think all the other episodes are under like 35 minutes and this one's like 37. And I think it's just that 2 minutes. I think it's the extra 2 minutes of like those seconds add up. And just make the episode work.
I like the way as well, just on that as well. I loved how the actual like story of the episode was a good bit different, and they had the whole kind of Groundhog Day thing, which was kind of funny and serious at the same time, and I think it just made the whole episode just really flow. And just him just getting more and more tortured as it goes on, because the more and more he tries, like, could you imagine how like insane you would go trying and trying again and again to save the person, like trying everything, like going down every single road, letting her drive, all this sort of thing. And I loved how they did that. Like, it was all kind of just put out there perfectly. Like the episode for me was great in that sense. I loved it. Absolutely loved it.
I think all the other episodes have like multiple scenes and even sometimes back-to-back scenes that are one-for-one remakes. Whereas like some of the only things that were one like exact remakes in this was like the car wrecking and it flipping was an exact one-for-one. Stuff like that. But like then we got so many new things, and like the ending of this episode, like the idea of like this is like this dude literally killed his entire universe, his entire existence. This is how universes die. Like this is crazy. And not only that, but like he's still in there too. Like whoo. Loved it. I didn't think he was an absorbed strange, honestly. I thought the good one was gonna like stop him somehow.
The Watcher actually starting to interact with him in this one too. That's a very interesting thing for just
that was
What If series in general. Like he's starting to interact with the world, which is like kind of a cool place for the series to be heading.
That was fantastic.
But dude, the lines were so good from the Watcher. Like he begs him. He's like, "Please help me." He's like, "You're a god." He's like, "I'm not, and neither are you."
Yeah, I love that. That scene was fantastic. That was probably my favorite part of the episode. It was just like, holy shit, he's gotten to a power level where he can now see the Watcher. Like, it's like, holy shit. And then it's just like, sorry, bro, you fucked up. See you later. I just thought, wow. I just did not see that happening. Yeah, I didn't see that happening at all. I thought that was unbelievable. I love Jeffrey Wright. Like, he's got such a fucking fantastic voice, and he's a great actor as well. He just, like, you can't even see him, but, like, I see him when I hear him talking, if that's strange or not. I don't know if that's strange, but like I can see him like when I picture him when he's talking. Like, that's how powerful his voice is. Like, it's just fucking unbelievable.
One thing I loved is like when the universe, I was watching a video that was like kind of looking into the episode, things that you didn't necessarily think about. When the universe is going away, destroying, they made it look like ink.
Yeah.
Kind of. Which, if you think about it, ink. Yeah, so ink is what they're created of, because since they're in this cartoon, so like it hits harder.
It does.
When you think of it that way, and it just
very intelligent.
It was good.
Very intelligent.
And also kind of very opposite of what we got from the Snap, which was dusty and dry and quick and
yeah. I suppose they can't really have people just like explode into like bags of blood or whatever, like,
This is how they're gonna do Blade.
Yeah.
Do you know what next week's episode is?
It's the Thor one, I think. Party Thor is next.
Party Thor?
Yeah.
Party Thor.
Party Thor.
You know what I really love about this episode too, real quick before we move off of it, I think? I just love that I hope the What If direct goes in more of this direction with characters, whereas not that they swap out characters and what they do, because I think Captain Carter, although like her action scenes were cool, she just doesn't really work as a character all that much. And I think like Black Panther becoming Star-Lord, right? Like he's a worse Star-Lord than Star-Lord. For the same reason, if you put like Star-Lord in Captain America's role, Captain America's a worse character for it, right? They take Doctor Strange and they don't change they don't like swap him out with another character. They don't make, Wong, Sorcerer Supreme and see what happens then. This is just like, what if something happens to Doctor Strange differently? How do we take that character that you know and that will set up, and like, how does that twist him and change him against what you know about him? And I think that's what is a much better approach to What If than kind of this swapping out of characters into different roles, which I don't think really works all that well because
I 100%
Captain
agree.
Carter just makes no sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're trying to force us to care about characters more, like at a way higher gravity that they haven't earned yet. Like to force us to like Agent Carter at Captain America levels. Like, you're that's a big ask. To force us to just accept T'Challa becoming Star Lord and kind of you shitting on not really Chris Pratt, but like the idea of Chris Pratt and his body of work, that's a big ask because he kills that role, to be honest. And like you said, like they really let Doctor Strange be himself, and it was just different circumstances. Like we all have those times in our life. Like, what if this one thing went differently for us? My life would be so different right now. And that's kind of what this episode feels like. Whereas every other episode is like, what if this is crazily veered off in a different way, and it's not even the same characters and cast, and
yeah, like you genuinely believe that could happen to Stephen Strange. Like he could just get drunk with power, and once he starts trying to save her, he just becomes obsessed with it. It's like trying to get his perfect surgical record. Like it's like, I can do this. I just got to keep trying, and gets to the point where he just literally implodes the entire universe. It's crazy. It's so good. So good.
It's a beautiful, beautiful, tragic story.
Yeah, it really was. It really was. I just couldn't believe, like, when I finished watching, I just said, wow, I just can't believe how dark that was. It was insane. It was crazy. Loved it.
They went in.
I hope this is a good sign for the rest of What If.
Yeah.
Because I don't know how many we got left, but I hope they head in this direction, because this is really the first one I'm like, oh, this is kind of fire. Like I can sit down and watch this. Like this nice animation right here. This is a good animated series.
It does feel like the animations are getting better, right, as well, like as it goes on. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Like I don't know if they actually made these in the order that they're releasing them, but if they did, you can kind of feel the progression of them getting better at the show.
Yeah.
One of the biggest foreshadowings of the episode, though, is the fact that the Watcher can interact with them, much like in the comics.
Yeah.
which is giving me vibes about this Watcher actually being Uatu, because in the comics,
it is. Was he not named? Did he not? I think he
They've
was
not named him yet.
No,
not yet.
I thought they did.
But
It's
I know
just the likeness of him.
Yeah, but I know that in the comics he interferes at least once, and then from that point on, he never did it again, because it caused like horrible change. I think I can't remember if it was like a Holocaust or a bombing. It was something not related to superheroes at all. He tried to change like the course of history, and it caused like a catastrophe, and they basically had to like figure out how to scrap it. And then he pretty much realized that like I can't mess with the timelines, or it's going to cause issues.
Is his boss the one above all? Who's his boss?
I don't remember actually. The one above all, I believe, is the boss to everyone.
Yeah, I just didn't know where he's at in the hierarchy of it.
Well, I know they're below the Living Tribunal. Yeah, and they might be above the Celestials.
Yeah, say above Celestials.
Right.
Yeah, that's weird. I'd love to know. Maybe I'd love to know if there was like a power hierarchy type video out there, so we could kind of see where he's at.
Yeah, because the two beings that are like pretty much the end all be all would be the one above all and the one below all. And then like I think the Watchers, since they can see the multiverse in itself, and the Celestials are part of whatever universe is like whichever timeline that they're part of. There's multiple Celestials, but there's not multiple like Watcher. Like there's no like different timelines of Watchers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the Watchers are just the Watchers.
They're outside of that spectrum, which is really cool. But yeah, we'll see an interference very soon.
That's what's crazy is their fourth wall breaking and interacting with the characters too. Like the shows start with them talking to us, kind of. I think pretty much, and then in the show they can interact with the characters. So that's I don't know of any of the other characters that are fourth wall breaking really like that.
I believe She-Hulk will be breaking the fourth wall as well as Deadpool. They're going to be the
Well, yeah, Deadpool's like the given, but
yeah, apparently
there is no fourth wall for Deadpool.
She-Hulk.
The wall is never there.
She-Hulk as well. Apparently, I as far as I think I read that she was like in comic history, she was like the first character to break the fourth wall in the comic books.
Yeah,
like before Wade.
I really hope they have fun with She-Hulk.
I think they will.
Good.
Anything else to say on this? I have a topic I want to talk about next.
I got no other thoughts.
Okay. I want to just take note of the time in this because I'm thinking this next bit I might try and like slice out and maybe upload it as a separate thing, maybe like a highlight or something. But I want to break down the Spider-Man trailer. We're going all in, guys.
Holy moly!
Ooh.
Yeah. So I've heard some really cool shit. I've watched some kind of breakdowns on it. I like a lot of stuff that was kind of freeze framing and stuff in the trailer that like I think a lot of people have missed. But what did you guys think of the trailer anyway? Like, I think I've spoke to you, Drunky, about it offline, but like, what
I was
trailer.
Absolutely hyped about it. I thought there were some like really fantastic shots in it, and you know, everything looked great. Everything looked like it was set up well. Besides Doctor Strange's hair. But you know, when you saw Green Goblin's ball roll out, I'm literally sitting next to my girlfriend. I grab her arm, I'm like, oh my god!
Yeah.
Oh, and then you know, I didn't think they're gonna reveal like Doc Ock that early.
Yeah.
You know, we know he's coming from all the leaks, but like him showing up in the trailer like that, like I flipped, man. Like seeing it like really confirmed, even though it's almost like basically was confirmed because how strong all the leaks were.
Yeah.
Seeing those guys, those two characters. And knowing that William Dafoe is coming to the MCU, it's just like it was such a good feeling, man.
It's incredible. Like I think Alfred
Yep.
Molina himself kind of spoiled it. Like he said that he was going to be in the movie. Like, you know, so
Yeah.
And then all. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
no, go on.
I'd say all the like this is one of those trailers too that has spawned all these conspiracy theories. Like Drunky's already got me on one himself because like I came to him, I was like, listen, Doctor Strange, he's a G, I'm chilling. And he's like, maybe he's not Doctor Strange. I was like, what? So there's this maybe he's not actually Doctor Strange theory. And then there's this other theory, like when he's saying hello, Peter, to the camera, what if the multiverse type thing, what if Toby never even shows up? What if what we see is Tom Holland, but what Doc Ock sees is Toby. You know?
I heard a thing about that I think, because I know movies do this sometimes where they'll have like they'll shoot a scene. So there's the scene where he's in the Iron Spider suit on the bridge at the end. They'll shoot like a kind of promo version of that scene that only has Tom in it. But then the actual scene that we'll see, like the final cut of that scene we'll see in the movie, will actually have Andrew and Toby there as well. And it'll be the three of them standing there. And then it'll be like, hello, Peter. And he's actually speaking to Toby, not to Tom.
They
so
erased them out for now.
Yeah, exactly. Like they're not there. So, but in the final cut of the movie, they will be there. And I think
But that's the thing. But like, just that whole point that like there's like conspiracy theories and stuff. Like everything else, I love that there's already a hype being built from this. Like I think I was talking to you about it the other day. This is already the #1 viewed trailer for any movie. It surpassed Endgame, which was the previous most watched trailer upon release.
Yeah.
And this is like probably at this point double or triple those views. Like
and it's for many reasons that's happened. Like, you know, this movie, there's been so many leaks. People are dying to see what's actually real, what's not. They've released this trailer really fucking late as well. Like I think I can't remember. I'll try and pull it up, but there was a comparison of like release dates of movies and then the release dates of the first teasers or the first trailers. And like a lot of movies, like MCU movies, the first teaser is out like 8 months before the movie, 6 months. Like this teaser came out like 3 months before the movie's meant to air, so it was very late. So I think that's going to create a shit ton of hype itself. And I kind of think, like, you know, there was a couple of different ideas floating around that, you know, we may never actually see a trailer and we go in blind just because of all of the leaks and everything. And I think that would have made a lot of sense. Like, it's a fucking Spider-Man movie at the end of the day. If they did Spider-Man 4 just directly after Tobey's like misstep with Spider-Man 3, like people are still gonna like flock to the cinema to see that movie. Like Spider-Man is such a strong character. It's the same with Batman. Like that Batman movie with Robert Pattinson, like it could be the shittest movie ever. It's still gonna do 300 million in the box office, like easy. People love Batman. They're just gonna go see the movie. Like, you know, it's just it has that built-in audience already. Spider-Man's the exact same. So yeah, like I think it's just it's gonna be an absolute blockbuster no matter what. Even if we're in COVID or not, I think it's still gonna. Like, I would not be surprised if this movie still got to close to $1 billion in the theaters, like just because everyone will go and see it. Like, you know, if you're not comfortable, going to the theater because of COVID, you're still gonna go to see this fucking film. You're gonna stomach it. You know, you're gonna make the trip, 100%.
It's gonna set the bar for post-pandemic like records for sure.
I think like.
I mean, we're not. I was gonna say we're not even post-pandemic really, but like. I don't know if we're ever going to be able to see numbers like we did for like Avatar and stuff before all this, because I think people are forever going to be hesitant. So I don't know just going forward. And I also don't know how the health of the whole theater system is going to go. I think the theater system is kind of back in a proof of concept era where the next year or two are really going to decide if we have theaters anymore. You know, they might be super niche going forward and like only those nice VIP type experiences, or you know,
a lot of people want to sit on their ass at home and they want to watch the movie at their own time. They want to watch it at 10 o'clock at night on a Tuesday night. That's fine, and like, you know, I've no problem with that. But for me personally, like, I will never stop going to the cinema. Like, as long as they are open, I will be there. Like, you know, I've probably seen 5 or 6 movies since the theaters reopened here in Ireland. Like, me and my girlfriend love going to the cinema. Like, and that's just something that's never gonna stop for me. Like. When this movie comes out, if it comes out with like a double thing like they did with Black Widow or Premiere Access, I'll buy both. You know, I'll go see it in the theater, then I'll buy it and I'll watch it straight away again at home. Like, you know, so they're getting double whammy out of me, like, for sure. But like, I just think there's a lot of people that are in the mindset that they're gonna just sit at home and watch it. Like, that's all they want to do. So.
I had a great theater experience with Shang-Chi. It was awesome. Like, rumbles in the chest, all the good vibes.
Oh, I fucking love it so much, dude. I want my ears to bleed when I'm in the cinema. Like, I want the biggest screen possible. I want a recliner chair. I want the nice food. I want the blackout room. Like, you know, it's a whole thing, dude. I love it so much.
I found the perfect seating for my theaters where, like, when you're reclined back, you literally just, your eyes just sit perfect.
Yeah.
Where you can just sit there with your eyes dead center and just not move. It's so good, dude.
Yeah,
the biggest stoner I've ever seen.
I love it so much. I love it so much.
You know, Finto, speaking of blackout, when I went to go see Shang-Chi in the theater,
yeah,
you know, I ordered for IMAX and we went to sit down. We were ready to go. They did the whole IMAX thing, and then the screen went black, and we're like, all right, let's go.
Nothing happened?
Yeah. Everyone was like, okay. And then, you know, it turned into a hooting and hollering just for a little bit. But everyone was nice. Everyone was very, like, polite. Nobody was, like, screaming or anything. Then you see the lady come out, and she's like, so... the reel got a little messed up, or we need some different keys, or what. I can't remember exactly what. And she's like, we're going to handle it. It's going to take about 5 to 10 minutes. And then everybody in the theater was like, thank you. the most polite customers I've ever seen. And I was like, this is comfortable.
Nice.
I think everyone was just happy to be there. Huh?
I don't know if you guys have had this experience, but both the past movies I went to see, the show time, my ticket time was 12:30 to see Shang-Chi. The movie didn't start until 1.
That happens
the
all the time.
preview started at 12:30. And then the movie started at 12:59 and 30 seconds. Like, what?
Happens all the time, bro.
I like previews, but like I don't know.
Actually,
did you guys experience? Did that happen to you, Drunky, when you went to the or is it actually starting the movie or closer to that time that your ticket?
I'll be honest, I don't pay attention. I'm just buried into my popcorn bucket until it's gone.
Hell yeah, bro.
And then the movie starts.
I respect the shit out of that answer, dude.
So maybe if they're shorter, I can like have my popcorn actually make it to like halfway during the movie. But
Well,
usually I'm almost done with my popcorn by the time the previews are over with.
they closed down my chili cheese fry stand. They only open on the weekends, starting at 3 p.m. until 8 p.m. And I'm like, bro,
That's horrible. Got to get your chili
yes,
cheese fries on.
it really was. It really was horrible.
But I mean, like, it happens. So, but I really like the previews though, only for the fact that there were some people that just walked in and they're like, "Holy crap! I need to make it to the movie." And it's nice to have those previews just for that little buffer. Because although like, yes, it is wonderful to watch trailers and like speak to your significant other, your friends or family, and be like, "Oh man, I'd love to watch that. That seems pretty nice." You like it's just this nice little thing. Like we got in like maybe 3 minutes late. The previews were still playing. We're like, all right, cool. We get our seats. We settled in. We start eating our popcorn, having our drinks, and we're good to go.
Yeah.
No, I just don't think you should be able to show up 30 minutes late to the ticket time and be like, "Oh, I'm here. The movie's starting. Don't worry, we didn't miss nothing." Like,
well, how it works in Ireland usually is there's about like 15 minutes, 20 minutes of like ad break, like like advertising, which is bullshit. No, everyone hates that. Then they do like 10 minutes of like movie trailers, and then they go into the movie. So what's actually been quite good about COVID is they don't want people in the cinema, like they want them in the cinema for as little as possible. So what they're doing is they're actually removing the 20 minutes of ad breaks at the start, the advertisements. They maybe have like one or two quick ads, then they go into the movie trailers, and then they start the movie. So it's actually COVID's actually working better for us now as viewers because we're not getting that 20 minutes or 15 minutes of advertising, which is great because everyone hates it. But
mine's like the opposite, dude. They've closed down more concessions. The ticket prices are a little bit higher, and the online fees higher, and I can't get chili cheese fries, and I have to wait half an hour. Like, come on, bro.
I can't get double popcorn anymore.
Every time we go in, it's like they don't have something, so it's like either there's no nachos or there's no like cheese, and then like one time you go in and there's like no chocolate. Like, so me and my girlfriend were like, oh, we'll like split a bag of chocolate or something after we eat our popcorn, and it's like, oh yeah, sorry, we don't have any stock. I feel like going like, guys, like in Ireland how they do it is like it's like a third of the capacity of the cinema can only be filled. I'm like, you're only able to fill this to a third of capacity. How the fuck are you running out of food? Like, what's going on? Like, like it's like, are you actually trying to save money? You're not ordering any food. Like, what the hell is happening? So that shit really annoys. That's the thing that really annoys me at the moment. It's just like, when you go in, you're not able to get something. There's something missing. It's either the cheese or the fucking nachos, or there's chocolate missing, or that you can only get like potato chips. Like, and you're just like, this is fucking stupid. Like,
dude, dude. I remember going to Harkins for Black Widow, and they literally took out like the butter and the like the toppings part for like the popcorn and everything. They took that whole thing out. But I went to AMC yesterday, and they still have the dispensers. They still have like everything's filled to the brim right now. It's like it's still good to go. And I'm like, I love AMC.
AMC are living it up, bro. They're living it up. Their stocks are good, dude.
Yeah.
AMC got the cash.
Mine's Cinemark.
Ooh.
Cinemark's great.
Mediocre.
Mediocre?
That's the part about the COVID experience in the movie theater is the buffer seats they give you now, where it's like they'll put like one seat in between you and the next group, and I'm like, nice.
Yeah.
Like, I don't need some dude sitting next to me,
Extra cup holders.
Dude, for me, it's 3 seats each way.
Damn.
It's three beside you, a full row in front of you, and a full row behind you.
That's
damn,
crazy.
bro. So you're like when you get the seats in the
There's
middle of
around.
the theater,
There's nobody there.
But you're fucking everybody else. Nobody else can sit in the middle.
I got the whole fucking place to myself, bro. That's why I'm trying to book my tickets a week early, so I get the seats I want,
Like
and then
playing
fuck everybody
Minesweeper.
else. Yeah, dude.
It's like playing
sure.
Minesweeper. You click a 3 right in the middle, and a huge thing just opens up, and you're like, "Yep, that's mine."
And this is the reason why the global box office is struggling so much, because what's happening in my country is happening throughout Europe a lot. So, like, these theaters, even at max capacity, are still only putting out like 1/3 of the seats that they can. So it's crazy. This is why these movies are suffering so much, because of reasons like this in the global box office.
That's why I think the next 2 years they might just make. There's only like they're gonna have only like Avatar, Marvel level movies in theaters. We're not gonna see very many. I feel like we're gonna see so many more movies go straight to streaming. Like,
I don't know if that happens, maybe, but I just think that the movie industry changes. I don't think that we're gonna have $200 million movies, which might not be a bad thing because I think that I think they'll downscale the budgets on these movies. You'll have your big, huge box offers or blockbusters again, but think back to like the 90s or early 2000s. You had like 2 or 3 big blockbusters a year. And now it's like they're trying to send like 8 or 10 of them at you a year.
Yeah.
Like
Yep.
huge budget movies that are like, come see this.
Yeah.
So maybe they'll get back to like, smaller screenplays that are more story driven, character driven, and not everything has to have like a huge action sequence that like is just boring anyways. Like, it's just like, oh yeah, here's the CGI monster coming out and attacking everybody. This is crazy.
straight to DVD ain't an option anymore. So I just think we're gonna see a lot more deals.
I think Netflix start making a lot more movies.
Mhm.
Yeah. But I think we've already been in a place where they changed the movie industry because we haven't had DVD sales. I think that's why we see a lot less risk in movies, is because when things would go to DVD, they could find like a second life. Like how many of the really popular cult films kind of like they got a resurgence because of the DVDs, right? Like that's where everyone found and loved it, and then they kept selling those DVDs, but now people aren't buying DVDs, so that's not really something they can make profit off like that.
Fun
I
fact.
think we're already there, to be honest. Now, I think we've been in that place for a little bit, and I just think that the movie theaters downscale. I think they become more intimate, more like customer driven, where it's not going to have like 100-seat theaters. You'll have more is probably like a 20-seat theater, a 10-seat theater with a more personalized experience for the people in there.
I would be so down for that, dude. That sounds epic. I'd love a private theater, like with just a couple of people, a couple of diehard fans in there.
Well,
just be
nice.
so nice, dude.
Well, it's not for COVID's sake that I want like the space seating. I think like because I started making more money, I was like, you know what, I can push people away.
Yeah.
Get them further away from me.
I don't know, was I
Just so
telling
I
you
have
before?
more room.
I don't know, was I telling you before, but a friend of mine, his older brother, like years ago, used to do that. He used to just buy the seat beside him on both sides, so he'd have nobody sitting beside him, and he'd put like his coat and his keys and everything on one seat, and then all his food on the other. And he would just be like, "Get the fuck away from me!" Sold out theater. He'd be like, "Nobody's sitting beside me." Like, it's baller moves, bro.
Yeah,
Baller.
I'm down to buy a whole row out because nothing annoys me more than seeing the cell phone. I seen one yesterday. I almost lost my. Seeing someone, like, turn their cell phone on. I'm like, do we need this right now? Do we need this? Your bright ass cell phone, like burning, like the eye of fucking Dormammu, just right in your face.
Just on the back of what you were saying about the DVD stuff, Drunky. I don't know if it just popped into my head when you were talking about that. But did you know that? Yeah, Family Guy when it was being released kept getting cancelled, and then the only thing that kept bringing it back was the DVD sales. They sold so many fucking DVDs that they were like, okay, we have to uncancel the show and make more of it because there's such a demand for the show. Like I think in the first 6 seasons of the show, I think it got cancelled 4 times.
How did I love how Family Guy got canceled, but South Park never did.
And like South Park's whole campaign is like, cancel us, please. Like, they're like, please
try
cancel
it.
us.
Like,
We don't want to work anymore.
We're tired of making shows.
They had to be stopped by Comedy Central, Comedy Central itself, before they were gonna put up a thing. I think showing I can't remember what it was. It was like a religious figure, and Comedy Central's like, yeah, we're getting death threats. You got to pull it, and they still wanted to throw it on there. Yeah. So instead of like changing the entire episode, they just put a big black box.
Yeah, they're so funny, dude.
It's so nuts.
Is that Bellatrix hanging out with Robo Drunky right there?
No, that's Dakota back there.
Oh,
I asked the same thing.
What I might do real quick is I'm gonna actually just play the Spider-Man trailer, but with like no audio, and maybe we can just kind of talk about it as it happens.
Yeah.
I want to try something real quick. I don't know if Discord is gonna. I don't know how this is gonna look on the stream, but let's try something. I want to see if I can try and like stream it here like this. You guys.
Oh yeah.
You guys can see it, right? But I don't think the stream can, so it kind of looks shit. Hang on.
No, you can see it on.
No, it's shown on the stream. It's just not.
I'm gonna focus it maybe.
Yeah, focus it.
Yeah, there you go. And full
Yeah,
screen
It's
it.
still kind of small. That is full screen though. It's on my second monitor.
Oh, is your
I'll
second
actually-
monitor
Yeah, it's vertical.
long
yeah.
ways?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why.
Yeah, it's
Grow up,
because I know
dude.
if I drag it over to my first screen, it's going to cover the whole stream.
They're trying to make your computer have a cell phone screen. Grow up.
Let me try something here. Can you guys? I might not be able to see you. Does that still work, or is it like doubled up for you guys?
It's just
I think it's
the stream in Discord is the wrong screen now, but
Yeah,
on
it's-
your actual stream, it's good.
On my stream, it's good, but you can't see it on yours because I want
Yeah,
to be able.
I'll use your stream.
No, what I want to do is I want to try to be able to talk about it in real time with you guys, obviously, because I don't want the delay.
Well, I mean, we've seen it, so we can hear it. We could still talk about it. I think this should work.
Oh, now you swapped it.
No, hang
Okay.
on. I want to try it one more time. I just think if I try this again, let's try.
The best shows have BTS. I love it.
Okay, let's try
Well,
this.
that's nice. That's nice.
Oh yeah, that's much better.
There we go.
There you go.
Okay, we're figuring.
Mo
it out.
better.
Hang on. Okay,
We're figuring it out. Hang on.
can you guys?
He's such a
Can you guys see
Spider-Man.
it?
Here we go.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. So like, I thought this was like very funny. This scene with Zendana. I thought like she's very funny. Did you see somebody was talking about how like he has his legs crossed to make a 4, and like someone was like, "It's Sam Raimi's
Oh,
Spider-Man
come
4."
on.
It's such a big throw, but I love it.
So this bit right here, a lot of people are saying, breaking down the trailers and stuff, that this is actually Charlie Cox. This is meant to be Charlie Cox.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of that, and I don't know why the lawyer would be interrogating him that hard.
Yeah, it doesn't.
Slamming stuff like, "What are you doing, my client?"
Yeah, and what I don't like about it here, and apparently Charlie Cox has come out and actually said that it's not real or whatever. It's not really him, and it kind of adds up here when I see this now when I pause it on here, because he's walking in with his arms crossed. He's meant to be blind. Like where's his walking stick and stuff, you know?
Bro, he's actually looking.
But Charlie Cox came out and he's like, "These are not my arms." You know? I think he is definitely going to be in the movie, but I think he's just gonna don't expect me in this scene right here.
I'm expecting a post-credit scene with him.
I think he's actually going to be in the movie. I think. See this? Oh no, sorry. This is the school scene. I think there's a scene with him. There's a scene with him outside.
Ooh, we go back.
What is
We
it?
paused it on the sign.
Oh yeah,
Mephisto symbolism
sign.
already. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, like the whole Mephisto thing is another conversation. Because obviously, there's the whole theory about Doctor Strange himself. Like he wouldn't ever cast a spell like this just to
Drunky said that's the only reason
satisfy one person's desire, and potentially ruin the entire fucking universe for it. So that makes a lot of sense. I actually really like the Mephisto theory for this.
Drunky thinks that Stephen Strange wouldn't let his hair look that shitty.
That too.
And his skin's real pasty too. He's not happy with the skincare that
Ned's the weirdest looking dude I've ever seen. I'm sorry.
Poor Ned. He looks like so
It's
strange.
wig.
He looks so strange in real life because he has no hair. Like that's actually a wig he wears in the movie. Yeah, like did you see this comparison? I think I put it on your Discord, Drunky, with the Mephisto standing in front of the fire.
Oh my god, bro! I can't.
Oh yeah, why does he have fire? Why does he have fire powers?
Well, he's the Sorcerer Supreme, bro.
You don't think he can make fire?
He made beer for
I would, but I would expect him to like portal it, like make a tiny little portal to like a fiery area, and then fire came out of that. Not just fire comes out of my fucking hands.
You cast a spell to create fire.
Kyle,
I love this
Kyle,
black suit.
you show me the little portal where that beer was coming from, and I'll believe you.
You should.
I gotta quickly say, because because we were now on like Spotify and stuff, there could be people actually just listening to the podcast. What we're doing right now is just kind of scrolling through the trailer for No Way Home and just kind of talking about it and stuff. So check out the YouTube; it'll make more sense.
Before we start this back up, I really feel bad for Tom Holland if these other Spider-Mans are in this movie.
Oh, they're gonna wash him out so much.
He looks he's the worst looking Spider-Man. Like Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire, they got this like kind of linky aspect to him where like the arms kind of feel longer, they're kind of thin. Tom Holland he just looks stubby. Like he just
I
looks
don't know.
short, and stubby, man. Like
I
he does
feel
not
like
look like Spider-Man.
I
Toby's
think he just
old.
looks like
and
a
that's what
child. I think he just
that'll
looks
be
like a
his saving
child.
grace
you
is
know?
that Toby's gonna be old. That'll be Tom's only saving grace here.
I think Toby's gonna be old, and I think it's gonna be epic, bro. Like I
Yeah,
think
I think they're gonna say okay, boomer.
it's gonna
thing.
work so well, because I think as well. I know I keep going back to this theory, but could you imagine if it was that Toby was actually Tom's Uncle Ben from the 616, but in another universe he's actually Peter? Like that would work so well, like story wise, and it would just really like push that connection between the two of them. And then that's his version of losing Uncle Ben, because it's like I'm gonna guess that Toby probably dies in Doctor Strange too. That's my guess.
Wonder who this random old guy is at the school or wherever they're at. I guess there's a bunch of older people.
Like
Love that suit. Love it.
I can't wait to see what occurs.
Why
with
do
the
you guys
suit.
think the castle's all snowy?
So apparently
been calling
that's from Hulk coming through the roof, and apparently because I think isn't this taking place not too long after the events of like Infinity War and
I mean,
Endgame?
that's 5 years later. They had time to repair it.
Yeah, I don't know.
because I don't know. I think he might be even in another sanctum or something, or like there's a weird reason the snow's coming through. Just because like in all the other shots it's summer, you know.
True. Yeah, like it's
The snow doesn't make sense to me. And also, I wonder if I would. Do you think it'd be cool if Wong right here going through that portal is going to do the Shang-Chi stuff?
That'd be sweet.
That would be a cool connection.
Has it been confirmed what the timeline of Shang-Chi is, like where it's actually based?
I feel like they touched on it.
I feel like it's like current. It feels almost current because they talk about the snap. They talk about so it has to be after that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd have to see something.
It has to be fairly current.
No, I don't think this is Doctor Strange. The whole winking thing and everything, and just it's so irresponsible. This whole fucking spell is just outrageous.
Oh yeah.
Look at the What If episode we just watched.
And like he's like rushing Peter. He's like rushing Peter into it because he's like, "What about this?" And he's like, "Not now." You know, it feels like he's being forced into it more than anything here at this point. The visuals, dude.
So good.
So good.
All right, can we pause it real quick though and talk about this Mephisto thing? Why would Mephisto wait for Peter to that moment if it really was Mephisto? Like, what's the no pun intended, the end game there? You know, like what's he doing?
Yeah, I don't know. Like I know the comic book storyline is that he tries to go to Strange, it doesn't actually work, and what he actually does is end up going to Mephisto as a last chance, like, you know, his deal with the devil, like. And I wonder are we actually, because see the way Strange here kind of, he looks different. He's not kind of looking like a kind of slacked out version of Strange. He kind of looks like the OG Strange. So I'm wondering, is this Strange a different Strange to this one?
But Drunky makes a good point too. Why do we even have the Eye of Agamotto? We don't. There's nothing. It's empty. It's just it's a ornate necklace at this point.
Well,
there's no power linked to it.
Shouldn't the Time Stone be back in it now? Wasn't it returned?
No,
because I don't think that universe has a time stone anymore because it's broke, right?
They were all destroyed.
There's no Infinity Storms or stones in our universe that we're watching in the MCU. Thanos destroyed all of those.
It may be used as a symbol of Sorcerer Supreme.
Yeah. I think I think I heard about this. The actual device itself holds power. So it actually it is like a magical like object itself without the stone in it.
Super quick, I just want to throw back to the What If episode. How freaking cool was the cape that they gave to the evil Doctor Strange, dude? Yeah, I love how he just randomly was like,
how he got it.
I don't deal with bugs. Nice cape though. And not now. He got it. It just looked cool as shit. Like it's such a good evil aesthetic. Sorry, I had to throw that in there.
Yeah, hell yeah, that was great. I loved it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I don't know. I think it the Mephisto thing always kind of makes sense. I think that's the kind of fun of the whole Mephisto thing, is that you can see it happening. Like, you know, this storyline seems to be really like referencing a lot of that from that comic book series where this deal is done with Mephisto, but maybe the MCU are just changing it, or they could just be misleading us in this trailer. Like you just don't know. I suppose we'll find out.
It's like that meme. Stop trying to make Mephisto happen.
Exactly. Yeah.
Internet. It's not gonna happen.
But it just keeps happening.
Yeah.
Now we're seeing the part that
Look at
I think
this.
Drunky described
Inception,
best.
Spider-Man?
Yes.
Oh my god,
Inception
bro!
meets Spider-Man.
I didn't even think about that. Like the skyscrapers like folding in on each other while Peter's swinging off of them could be the raddest visuals we've ever seen.
I didn't know I needed it, but I need it. I need like the street mirrored above, and Peter can swing off the street above. Ugh.
And below.
So now, like, it looks like they're fighting each other. So, like, what the hell's going on? And then obviously we got to talk about this. So, obviously you've got here. This is like sand and electricity together. So obviously it's Sandman and Electro, and they've come out and said that they're changing Jamie Foxx's lightning from blue to yellow. So this is in fact Jamie Foxx.
Nice.
They need to change all of its visuals, because he looked like shit.
Yeah. Like this.
But yeah, like you said, they're fighting the trains there. What is this box? Do you guys have any theories on this?
So
looks like he's trying to get the box from Peter, and Peter's hand is like trapped in it. Maybe like it looks like the doors are trapped and holding his hand in it.
I'm gonna say this. Well, I'll let Finto go.
I was gonna say I've heard some things that I think are are spoilers. So I don't know if you want me to tell you what I think I know, or not. But it's up to you guys.
Well,
but
let me go first because I haven't looked at any spoilers. So like if it comes from me, it's not like from anywhere.
Yeah.
I would say that spell, Strange Cast opened up the multiverse, right? Like we know that's happening.
Mm-hmm.
And so Peter in this scene where he's being held by the box and possibly fighting Doctor Strange in the last one, he's in another universe right now. He shows up. Doctor Strange is like, "What are you doing here? Who are you?" He's Spider-Man. He's swinging around. So how does Doctor Strange stop somebody who moves around real fast, traps his hand in a box, and then knocks him out to astral project him? Like I feel like that's what's going on in this scene where he's got him caught.
Yeah.
Oh, I like that theory too. That like he's fighting because that's why this Doctor Strange would look so much. The one thing that they said that Doctor Strange has never been without is the little hair swoop, the little bang that hangs down. This Doctor Strange has the bang hanging down. The Doctor Strange that does the spell for us wearing the hoodie and all the snow does not have this.
Yeah, like this looks like Strange. So
right.
I'm getting the vibes of that, like, everything that we see up to the trailer so far, this doesn't really look like Strange, and even less so this dude like looks nothing like Strange. Like he's just chilling in his hoodie, and like that more so looks like Strange maybe trying to fix stuff. I don't know. It just makes a lot of sense that perhaps Peter goes to meet Strange, but he actually isn't talking to Strange, and then I think maybe Strange comes back where we are here, and he's like, this is him, and he's like, this is the real him, and it's kind of like, let's try fix what the fuck is going on here. So yeah, I think there's a whole, I can kind of tell you what I think I know about this box if you want.
Sure.
So basically what I've heard, now again I don't know if this is true or not, but basically what happens is Strange ends up collecting the Sinister Six and locking them away in a kind of magical prison, and this is some sort of device that Peter uses to free them, because Peter finds out that Spider-Man is the cause of all of their deaths in their timelines and in their universes. So he starts to feel very guilty, even though he had nothing to do with any of it, and he tries to free them. But basically, then this is what starts the fight between the two of them. That's kind of what I've heard.
Who are all the Sinister Six?
So you've got Doc Ock, you've got Sandman, Electro, Green Goblin, Scorpion.
Is Mysterio?
Mysterio's not one of them, no. He's not one of the original Sinister Six. Who am I forgetting?
Was Rhino one?
I don't think so. I think in the comic books and stuff he is, but I don't think he's in the movie.
I think it would be Vulture, right?
Yeah, Vulture. Yeah. So this is the scene.
Oh, look at that! We got the metal suit. That's the Stark suit.
This is the scene I was talking about that people are saying they think in the actual movie you're gonna see Andrew here and Toby here on this side.
Yeah,
you're gonna
and I can totally see that because he's in the Iron suit, and do you really want 3 Spider-Mans rolling around in the same suit that just do the same thing.
Oh, that's a black Spider-Man suit right there. That's a Spider-Man 3 suit.
That's the
Yeah,
gold.
look
That's
at
his.
that.
That's his gold and black suit. But so this scene here, I've seen kind of like broken down a good bit. Can I like slow the play back down?
Yeah, it's in the gear.
Yeah.
It's in the gear where it says
It's-
HD playback speed.
Oh yeah.
I-
So let's go.
I would think
let's
that-
go hella slow here. So watch this, right? I saw this broken down. This is crazy here. So there's something about who that is. But see, there's a Spider-Man here. Watch up here. There's like, it's hard to see, but I think you see a second person moving up here. So there's a Spider-Man here, and I think there's a Spider-Man emerging from the sand over here that the people are saying. It's very hard to see. I think
Almost
actually,
looks
sorry
like a
here,
Toby suit.
sorry here. See there's like a person here. Can
Yeah.
you see it? So it's like there's
Yeah.
there's Tom, and this is potentially Andrew or
All right, this feels like a psychology ink blot test to me.
and then
I
this,
see a bat.
this is
Sandman
obviously
is-
this is obviously the best
Yeah.
part of the trailer for sure.
Dude,
Yeah,
William Dafoe, bro.
1000% best part of the.
Who I think now is a better actor than he was when the first movie came out. Like I think he's grown so
Hell
much.
yeah.
And,
Yes, he
delivers
has.
so I'm
Oh my
excited.
goodness.
Rumor,
So now we're seeing him in the suit.
rumor on who this is as well. Apparently this is Miles's mother.
Last year's, well, I don't know.
You know the way she's a politician.
Miles' mother?
Miles Morales.
Now that suit he's wearing is the same exact
Hmm.
suit that Toby wore in Spider-Man 3.
Yeah, that's true. I like that as well. And did you see the way in the Doc Ock arms, the middle part is red, which is indicating that the chip is
Mephisto.
broken and
Oh.
the arms have taken over. So it's not actually he's not in control anymore. The tech is in control of him. So he's full blown like insane, full blown evil. Like there's no.
Dude,
he's-
he
he's
looks
gonna be
better.
badass.
He looks better than he did in the original movie, dude.
The only thing I don't-
de-aging is money.
The only thing I'm not crazy about, and I think they do this with like the deep fake and the de-aging stuff a lot, is his hair doesn't look the same. Like I've seen like side by side photos of him from Spider-Man 2 and then this, and his hair is like parted in the middle and combed over, whereas it's kind of just like messy here. So I don't know. Like obviously it looks amazing. Like he looks.
Hey, you travel through a multiverse and try to keep your hair looking the same, okay? Grow up.
What, they couldn't fix this guy's fucking eyeglasses?
They should have done a bowl cut.
They should.
Oh yeah, they also point out that he's wearing different shoes.
Or just
here,
like,
different
when
colored shoes.
he comes through the timeline or something, like his hair just gets melted away. Then they don't have to worry about hair at all.
So the whole I saw on the breakdown the whole rest of the trailer, he was wearing different colored shoes, and then when he's wearing this Spider-Man 3 suit here, his shoes change for this as well. It's the only time that we see him in these.
Are you talking about these Vans?
Yeah,
I just want to see this.
He's wearing-
I want to see this in slow mo here. So cool, dude. It's epic. So good, dude. Love it. Love
can't
it.
wait.
Love it.
The only thing I would think as far as the design for how they're going to do the villains is they have to pluck them before any sort of redemption or regret occurs. Otherwise, there's no reason to be angry at him anymore, except for Green Goblin because he kind of
well,
accidentally took himself out.
apparently it's at the moment of their deaths is when they get picked out of the timeline. So
But that to me that wouldn't make sense because the reason why Doc Ock died is because he tried to help save the city.
yeah, but I think
He realized what he did.
in doing so, I think because isn't his chip broken anyway? He kind of snaps out. I need to watch the movie again. I haven't seen it in so long, but I think obviously him drowning, he kind of snaps out of it. But maybe the travel kind of messes him up or something. I'm not sure.
The idea behind the ending to 2 was that he realized that like the tentacles were taking over his brain, like they were telling him too much, telling him to cause trouble, and so he forces the will to get them to bend to his will, and therefore they change back to normal, and then that's when he realizes that he needs to save the city. Everybody's gonna die if he doesn't fix things. As far as I can't remember exactly why he decides to change his mind, but he literally turns into like a hero for like about 5 minutes because he tries to save the city by crashing that
reactor.
power and the reactor into the river, and then he dies in the process. So if you were to bring him back at that point where he died, the only thing I would say, like, to me, this would sound like a cop out, is him just coming back and being like, well, Spider-Man didn't save me, so I'm angry at him. Like, that doesn't feel right.
Yeah, I'd say they take him back just before the actual arms break, because isn't there like there's like a surge, if I remember correctly, and the little thing that's like connected to the top of his spine at the like bottom of his brain, it like pops, and then he kind of snaps out of it then. And then he's like, oh my god, Peter, blah, blah, blah. And then he realizes, shit, we got to take this thing down. Whereas maybe he gets... Because what I've heard is that he gets pulled from the river. I think that's what Feige said. But it's like, maybe in doing so, it kind of reverts time or something. I don't know. Again,
Maybe.
I know what you're saying makes a lot of sense. Like, if he was pulled exactly from just the moment before he died, he's had his redemption arc, right? So, like, he's good again. So, like, yeah, that doesn't make any sense.
Or we're pulling from other completely different timelines than what we've seen.
Exactly.
Dun, dun, dun.
I like that as well. Mex just said that as well. Like, he's like, they could be getting pulled from a universe where the Sinister Six actually win. So, yeah, that's definitely...
Ooh, that would be sick.
That's a possibility as well.
I would love that.
That would be sweet. And then it's like, they all come together. Fuck, there's another Spider-Man shit. We all got to team together to kill this guy. That makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Makes sense a lot. Yeah, and then Toby and Andrew show up because it's like, oh, we've beaten these guys before in our own universes. We'll give you a hand. We'll help you to beat them. Like,
yeah,
Boom.
done. We just wrote Spider-Man 3.
I just really feel bad for Tom. Like, I think it's gonna be a great movie. I think this like weakens him as Spider-Man so much. Like, we really see the other Spider-Mans here and see like that he's the worst out of all three.
Yeah.
yeah.
And then as well, like, they're definitely doing Miles. So then Miles comes in and he's gonna just be amazing. Like, everyone's gonna take up Miles straight away. First live action adoption of him, and it's just gonna be like, everyone's gonna want like the Miles movie. It's gonna be fire. And I think I think Tom suffers unless they kind of do a 616 story where he becomes the leader of the Avengers or something. They really got to push him forward and try and make him the next Tony Stark in that sense and go down a different route. Like, I love Andrew's Peter and I love Andrew's Spidey, and I'd love to see more of him. But like, I think he's very like kind of comic accurate to like a Spider-Man, and I think you let him go and do his thing. You let Toby be like the kind of veteran kind of like the way they did it in the Into the Spider-Verse, where he's like the Peter B. Parker. He's the kind of like semi-retired guy, and then you've got Miles coming in. He's the fresh blood. He's got the different powers and everything. He's the new thing. And then I just think you need to kind of turn Tom's character into like a little mini Tony or something. You got to do something completely different with him, right? Because he's such a different Spider-Man.
Are you suggesting they keep these Spider-Men around in the MCU long term?
I think what's going to happen is they're going to be around for a little while, but then I think a few of them, like, I don't think Toby's going to hang around, but I think Andrew might get a couple of movies himself in Sony. Like, there's a Sony Spider-Verse being built.
You're crazy, bro.
Dude, that's happening. It's happening, bro. There's a Sony Spider-Verse in the works, which is going to have Venom and all these people, so I truly think that...
Tom in that?
No, I don't think so. Maybe not as the main Spider-Man. I think maybe he shows up to help out and stuff. But I think Tom belongs to the 616, and I really think that, like, yeah, we're gonna get Andrew. Andrew might get like not another trilogy, but like he might show up in little hairs.
We should all take a minute to say hi to Zaber's dad. Hey, Zaber's dad.
Hey, Dad.
He said hi. He said hi in the chat via Shara. So
that's amazing. Dad says hi. Hello, Dad. What's up? What's up? Welcome to Marvelous Chats. Make sure to hit subscribe.
The dad just like walked down to the basement while we're all just like playing D&D. He's like, "Hey, you guys, need some chips down there? You want some sodas?"
No, Dad, we're fine.
I remember my few rounds of D&D. I was a half elf. I can't remember the other classes.
Guys, keep talking. I'll be back in 1 sec.
Oh man, Finto, it's fucking nuts. You guys,
right?
that they're staying around the MCU, Alex?
I'm sorry.
You think all the Spider-Man are staying around in the MCU and the Sonyverse, or are they one and done?
No, it's gonna end.
I don't even
I would
think
say
they're
it would.
one and done.
I would say it would end the same way as Into the Spider-Verse, where they have to go back.
Yeah.
I think even if they are, I don't think it's guaranteed they're both in this movie. And I think even if they are, it is minimal.
I think they're gonna get a burger at the end of the movie before they go. Yeah, they're gonna go grab some food.
Vin in chat says that supposedly Tom's Spider-Man. This is Tom Holland's Spider-Man send-off to the Sonyverse. So do you think this is where he exits the MCU?
I mean, it's plausible, but we still need a Spider-Man. I'm not too sure. I mean, if they decide to send off Tom and they pull, like, let's say they pull in Miles, that I would really enjoy that, to be honest. I would really love that to be like a proper transition, but they're already doing Spider-Verse 2, which makes it very unbelievable to like send off Peter right away after this.
I think he's going to be making too much. I don't think I think they're Disney and the MCU are going to hang on to him for dear life. He is one thing Finto has right is when his movies come out, there is guaranteed asses in the seats. There's money to be made, and with all these what ifs with Eternals and all these other She-Hulk and other movies that aren't going to be guaranteed to have that, I think they're going to do everything in their power to keep him as invested into this. I think his movie is going to guarantee his appearance in Multiverse of Madness. And I think they're going to maybe even in that movie try to invest him into stuff a little bit more. I think they're going to try to get his roots as deep as possible right now. Because if you look at who else is like OGs right now that are still going to be around, nobody's pulling. Captain Marvel ain't going to be pulling the numbers he is. Doctor Strange, as much as I love him, I still don't think he is. Spider-Man is just one of those heroes that like everybody knows. Everybody knows Spider-Man. And I think they're going to hold on to that as hard as they can.
Now, let's say that the MCU, like this movie is a $1 billion movie. Like Finto was throwing that out earlier, that this could be like the first $1 billion movie we have in the COVID era, right? If that happens, do you think Disney goes ahead and buys out Sony? Tries to like pick up all the Spider-Man rights like outright from them?
I don't think Sony sells it. I think that Sony sees that. I think it's gonna be both of them doing the same thing. They're both gonna hang on to dear life because Sony's gonna see that when they're making more money off of a cut of this Spider-Man movie than they're gonna make off the entire 100% ownership of their Venom movie, they're gonna be like, we're not selling Spider-Man to you, sorry.
Yeah, and honestly, like I go back to the culture of it. It's a Japanese company, and Japanese companies really do not like any sort of additional diversity to like be played into their company. And I'm not sure how Sony deals with it nowadays, but I know Nintendo is very strict on their like outlook. It took them a long time before like they really started pushing out the third-party games, and you know. It's just recently that the Switch is like, oh man, we got all these third-party games now. We got like Doom, we've got, you know, Fortnite is on there now, like because they realize how important it is to expand upon their like outlook, and hopefully Sony is doing the same thing. But I haven't really seen much of it, so I kind of doubt it right now. I think it's going to be in the same situation as with the Universal Studios and Hulk, where maybe they'll still give Disney the reins, but like Sony will have the distribution rights at the very least. Yeah. So I mean, maybe they'll come to an agreement where it's like, okay, you have a better, Disney clearly has a better hold of like what Spider-Man is, how they should be, and how the story should be written. Let's just keep our hand in the cookie jar though, because we want to make sure we make the money.
Sure. So Finto, I was asking him if this movie makes $1 billion, like you're talking about earlier.
Yeah.
Is that when Disney tries to pull the trigger on like buying Spider-Man outright from Sony? So that's what we were talking about, just to kind of catch you up to speed.
My response is I think both. I was telling Drunk, I think both of them are gonna try to deadlock hold onto Spider-Man as long as possible. I think in the MCU side, they're gonna make more money off, like you said, they might even be pushing it back to the next year to help carry next year's financials. They're gonna make so much money off this. And then Sony, on the other hand, is gonna also make is gonna make more money off this than they are off Venom. And Venom's there, and there is a whole ass movie. I think both of them are just gonna be like, I think we're gonna see maybe even Sony try to do their own Spider-Man movie.
Right.
Mhm.
That's what I think is going to happen. I really think that Sony will do a movie with Andrew, and Andrew will show up in Venom, and Andrew will be Venom's Spider-Man, like, because they have said that there is a Spider-Man, but they haven't run into him yet in the Venom verse. But I think that's what's probably going to happen.
Do you think he's in the main movie or the post-credit scene for this Venom?
I don't think he's in the credit scene at all. I think that would be epic if he was, but I just don't think that they're ready to.
You don't think he's even in this movie at all for this one, but he's in maybe the next Venom?
Who, Andrew? Or are we talking about Andrew or Tom?
Or any Spider-Man appearance for the Venom.
Venom 3 will have a Spider-Man in it. I don't know which one, but it will have a Spider-Man in it for sure.
Mhm.
I think do you think it makes more sense for a Venom to show up in as, like, maybe, like you said, they do a Sony's Spider-Man movie, and then Venom shows up slightly in that first to introduce them to each other, you know?
Well, I think what's going to happen is, like, Venom 2 will happen. It'll be its own thing. I think Spider-Man 3 will happen. It'll be its own thing to some extent. And I think Doctor Strange 2 is where it gets fucking freaky. Doctor Strange 2 is where we're going to see characters. I think this is pretty much confirmed now. We're going to see characters from the Fox universe in that movie. We're going to see characters from the Sonyverse in that movie. And then obviously MCU variants, everything. Like, I just heard this week that Owen Wilson's going to be in that movie. Fucking
As Mobius?
as Mobius, yeah. And we're going to see Lady Loki and the whole shebang. Like, it's going to be where Loki ended. It picks up right where Doctor Strange 2 is at, and that's where we're going to get the introduction to Kang in our time. And then that's going to lead on to Quantumania. That's what I've heard is going to be happening there. And then obviously you've got Wanda in Doctor Strange 2. You know, there's rumors of fucking insane shit. Like, there's a crazy rumor that there's going to be, like, that animated movie Big Hero 6. That's actually a Marvel, like, comic book adaptation, which I didn't even know about. And apparently there's going to be some sort of Big Hero 6 reference. In Doctor Strange 2 as well. Like, it's nuts.
Okay.
Like, it's nuts. So.
Here's the big question that I have. How do Eternals and Shang-Chi, because I've seen the movie and because obviously this isn't a spoiler, we know Wong's in it, so Wong is a direct tie to Doctor Strange. So obviously Shang-Chi has a shoe in Doctor Strange movie somehow there to be tied in. How do the Eternals, how are all these, how do they all get into another movie together? Like, obviously they're gonna lead up to
Secret
a point
Wars.
where it's gonna be like,
I think Secret
but
Wars is
how
the
did
next Endgame.
So who do you think the Eternals run into in theirs?
In their
Celestials.
movie,
Who's their
the
tie?
Celestials.
Yeah, who's their? Yeah, but who's their tie to the current?
Oh,
MCU
like
that we have?
I think they'll
who's
just,
an MCU hero that's going to show up?
Who's their current tie-in to
I think-
what we have going on?
I think they just
Black
they
Knight,
pop onto Earth.
Oh, that
Yeah,
would-
Black Knight for sure. Like, he's all over the trailer. I think they'll just be on Earth, and I think they might. I don't know who they run into, but I don't know if there's going to be any, like, Marvel, like, or sorry, any, like, Avengers in that film or not. Like, maybe
The
like,
extended trailer for Eternals is really good. Shows a lot more fighting. I don't know if it showed at your theaters. I don't know if it's out on YouTube. Shows a lot more of them fighting against what I believe are the Deviants.
yeah.
Holy, it's gonna be
Is that what the
like some of these powers are weird.
Is that the trailer where
Like,
you
he has a
see
triangle
Rob?
floating above his
Rob's-
head.
Is that the trailer where you see Rob Stark with the yellow beams in his eyes and shit?
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
there's another guy has like a triangle that floats above his hand, and then
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say for, like, current MCU people that could, like, be placed in the Eternals, I know it's almost overused at this part, but they've always talked about how important he is to Phase 4. I think Doctor Strange is the
Yeah.
one that probably shows up in it, because the Sorcerer Supreme, the Ancient One, would obviously know something about the Celestials, something about the Eternals, not acting on it or whatever, but it would seem
mean,
almost
definitely.
natural for them to have, like, kind of have a, I don't know about point of contact, but just a knowledge about that, you know?
Mhm.
Outside of them, I could see Captain Marvel coming back in. We really haven't seen her since Endgame.
Maybe
And so like
Thor. It has to be like an otherworldly, off-earthly
right.
person, probably.
Mhm.
So we know Captain Marvel. Did she take off at the end of Endgame? Uh,
Uh, I believe so.
Isn't
Thor
she?
left.
Isn't she off world with She's with Fury and stuff in space, and that's where
yeah, and this
Rambo's
is
gone now, and like that's what the Secret Invasion show is going to be about. I wouldn't be surprised if she shows up there, and then she's going to
that's
be in
what
the
I'm
Marvels.
Mhm.
Obviously,
that's what I'm wondering is like the Eternals takes place like right after Endgame, and they
it
said in the
is.
trailers they got like 7 days, so maybe Captain Marvel's still on Earth in that time frame. I don't know. And so I think it just kind of depends. Like Captain Marvel is a huge cosmic character that could definitely be wrapped up in the Eternals because of her power level 1 probably matches theirs.
Mhm.
And then she knows about cosmic stuff. She probably knows about the Celestials in some form.
Is Photon like an Earthbound? Is Rambo like an Earthbound type hero, or is she like a Captain Marvel that goes around out in space and shit too?
She goes in space, yeah.
Yeah,
She's out there already.
yeah, she was pulled at the end of WandaVision.
Yeah, she's pulled. Yeah, so I presume she's on a spaceship somewhere, floating around with Nick Fury at the moment.
Yeah.
We know the Asgardians are on Earth, so maybe a small interaction with that town.
I'd love that. That'd be nice.
Because
I don't want to. I don't want to
Valkyrie's
see any
there.
I don't want to see any Captain Marvel. To be honest, she's the last person. She's the last person I want to see show up in that film.
I really hope that
I
after
believe it.
yeah, I really hope after all this, after all the backlash, maybe they adjust the character a bit more, and see if they can redeem it. Because like it wasn't like the worst movie, but like the character was something to really like hope for, and they kind of dropped the ball on that, and it really like it really sucked, man. Like I thought that like a lot of the callbacks for them like being in the past, that was fun. I don't want to go too far into Marvels, but like Captain Marvel as a hero without the like the attitude, probably really good. But yeah, like oh god, I forgot her name. She just didn't hold it up.
Brie Larson.
Brie Larson. She just didn't hold it up properly. I don't know if it's her or if it was like the way that they told her to act. But we'll never know. We
I mean,
we
look
just
at the
have to.
interviews where she's not in character.
Is she very monotone?
They're like everything she does. Like, there's videos that break it down. Like, she'll say something and then they'll be joking around, and then you can't tell if she's actually joking around back or being serious. And then you're just like, wait. And then like it's like with Chris Hemsworth there and like Dan Cheadle. There's a really specific interview with Chris Hemsworth and Dan Cheadle on either side of her,
Did you
and
watch
they're
the
both just. I watched this breakdown of it where it's like talking about like psychological things where like Chris is trying to give her an out in the situation and she doubles down on like her bad communication skills and is like, it's bad.
Mm.
I watched
Yep.
the full interview and I got the sense that they're all joking around with each other. If you watch the whole thing, and those videos I watch, it's like they pick out very specific moments, and it's just it's weird.
Well, like, do they recover from the like? I feel like we've been fighting all day, like type comments.
Yeah, they're messing around. Like I would say this: if you took that thing and you put Chris Evans in there instead of Brie Larson, everyone thinks that they're just messing around with each other and it's a huge joke. But I think that we all come in
That's
with
the
our
problem
own.
with her is you can't tell with her. It's her personality. You can't tell like for I don't know. Like if you if you take one that has no one else involved, like look at her interview where they do that like Google search, like where it autofills the Google and she reads off the questions. It'll be like she'll read a question and like the same video I talked to where they break down the interview. They talk about that interview too, where just like she's just super weird. Like she's super weird. I don't know, man.
So
I want to kind of, Drinky, you responded to it, but I want to shout that out. Hire Gabe for the MCU. He said, my friend and I had a cool talk about how Fantastic Four should be making their entrance in the MCU. Imagine them already in this universe, but they're stuck in time because of the Kang situation, and they literally have to find a way to get back to their timeline.
Quantum
That's
realm.
a banger idea.
They're stuck in the quantum realm. Yeah, I've heard
Yeah.
I've heard this theory and I love it.
And
I love it.
Yeah, they should absolutely do it like they did Captain America, where they do a 1960s or 1940s, whatever, like throwback piece where it's all set in a time period. And at the very end of it, they go through this space thing, and instead of getting frozen in ice, they get like stuck in the quantum realm. And so when they come out of it, they're still that like 1940s nuclear family, fish out of water in the modern day. Like, we don't fit in here. This is awkward. Just like Captain America, like they can fill that void where Captain America isn't there anymore, like the fish out of the water character.
For sure.
And dude, yeah, I would love to see that. I would love to see that because you got to have a very clever way to bring them in.
They've always had that fish out of water character. Like, you look at Thor was a fish out of water for a while, like not knowing about Earth, and then Captain America. Like, yeah, they've always had that kind of role, and that's I feel like that's a good idea.
Yeah, I would just love like especially if they do like a 1960 thing, bro. Like, that would be so fun, like with the music and stuff going on.
I'd love it. Yeah, it'd be great. Absolutely.
Man, that's gonna be awesome if they do something like that.
Mm-hmm.
You said doo-doo.
I did.
Let me just see. I just want to take. I was away last week, so I wasn't really kind of paying as much attention as I usually pay to the news. But has anybody got any cool news bits?
MCU.
The main one I
got
is about that they might delay stuff.
I got some DC stuff. Actually, sorry, one thing. I heard Josh Brolin is in talks of revitalizing the Cable from the Fox universe character in the MCU. So they're talking about bringing Josh Brolin back, who obviously played Thanos, but as Cable from the Deadpool movie in the MCU. Obviously, that makes a lot of sense if they're like writing a new Deadpool movie and linking in the Cable like time travel tech and stuff like that. So I think that'd be really sweet. I'd love to see him return as Cable. I thought he was great.
Dude, he was amazing, bro. I would really love them to actually dig into Cable's character and not him just be like a plot tool. You know, like I love Cable's character. He's one of my favorite characters in all of Marvel.
Hell yeah, I agree. Bit of DC news that I heard as well. So you know the way Michael B. Jordan is doing a Superman project, Black Superman project. Apparently, that character somehow in the future of the DC universe is going to somehow cross into the main kind of movie timeline. So the Snyderverse, or whatever it's going to be called. But basically the characters that Snyder developed. So Ezra Miller's Flash and so on. Maybe it'll be something to do with Flashpoint or something like that. But the Michael B. Jordan thing is only in development now. So I presume it's got to be something down the line. Because that Flash movie is actually filming at the moment. So there's no way that Michael B. Jordan stuff is going to be done in time for him to appear anywhere near that. But that's interesting as well. They're doing a Black Canary movie, or some solo Black Canary project.
We're all so excited for that one, huh?
I'm not excited for that one, but the only thing that excites me about it is that obviously she has a big love interest with the Green Arrow, who's like my favorite superhero, and there's rumors that we're going to get his first movie appearance and his tie into the DC universe as well. So I'm very interested in who they actually cast. I want to see Charlie Hunnam. I've heard rumors that like he has been contacted by DC to actually do it. The fact that they have The Rock in there now and stuff like that, I think the DC universe is becoming more enticing as time goes on, especially with Flashpoint and stuff like that. Michael Keaton coming back and everything. I think they're gearing up to do some really cool shit, and I think maybe some bigger actors might be enticed to come in. Obviously, these guys know a lot more than we do. Obviously, they're giving pitches and stories and scripts and stuff like that we won't have a clue about. So I would not be surprised if we have someone like Charlie Hunnam signing on to play Green Arrow, which would be fucking epic.
What does our timeline look like after What If? I know Hawkeye's in November. Is that the next thing for us? We like go back to the movie.
Yeah, we've got like,
and then Hawkeye.
What do we have? Like 5 or 6 more episodes of What If. 5 episodes of What If. So that's 5 more weeks of What If. Then we've got what is it? Eternals is meant to be in November. Fingers crossed, it actually happens.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then Spider-Man.
So then we'd have Eternals, and then Hawkeye, and then Spider-Man.
Yeah, so Hawkeye will obviously start in December, I think. Is it December or November? I can't remember. I think it's
No,
December.
it said November, late November 23rd.
Okay, so it'll be after Eternals. We'll probably get the first episodes of Hawkeye. That'll run all the way through Spider-Man, and then maybe I'm gonna guess it's probably 6 episodes as well. So we might get it up to Christmas, maybe. And then February we have Doctor Strange 2. This is all going, fingers crossed. Nothing detrimental happens in the box office and they decide to push things back.
Dude, that's gonna be a long January for me waiting for that Doctor Strange movie.
Yeah, big time.
And don't forget, we have Let There Be Carnage as a filler.
That is true. That's been moved to October 15th. So
Yep.
Me and Mitch were even talking about that. Like,
the fact that that's
I
like,
think the only reason I'm going to it is for this podcast.
yeah. Yeah, like I need to rewatch the first movie. I've only seen it once when I first saw it in the cinema.
Yeah, like I said, it's good. It's not like, oh my god, you got to go see it, but it's good. It's not like, it's not like, oh yeah. Anyways, but going into Venom 2, we know that we have Cletus Cassidy. We know we have Tom Hardy as Eddie Brock. I know most people don't really know about Shriek, but I was gonna ask, how do you guys feel about the way they're portraying Shriek, like in these tiny little tidbits from the trailer? Like you see her once in an enclosed space,
Yeah.
shrieking and like ruining furniture for no reason, and then you see her again in the car and shrieking once again, and it makes me kind of worried that they're turning Shriek into like hopefully they don't turn Shriek into a gimmick, because it is a villain that breaks out with Cletus and Carnage, and so it should be at the very least a side villain that they have to deal with. Mm-hmm. So, but that being said, if they are going to have any sort of additional help, how do you think that's going to play out? Like if they have Shriek and Carnage, the what they're missing is Spider-Man, because in Maximum Carnage, of course, it's Spider-Man and Venom working together to defeat Carnage.
I think this Carnage movie is like a one of two. I think this is going to be like a two-parter. I think what we're going to get is Carnage, his intro, and I think him absolutely fucking up the West Coast. Like I think he's gonna like just destroy shit, and then I think Venom's gonna retreat with his tail between his legs, and I think in the next movie we get part 2, the redemption story, and an intro of Spider-Man, and then maybe that's where we do Spider-Man and Venom versus Carnage.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that makes the most sense.
So, of course, Shriek is going to be a horrible match against for Venom, because of course she has those ultrasonic waves from her sound, from the sound she produces. In which case,
the symbiote off.
The what?
Doesn't sound? Isn't that what knocks the symbiote off of him?
Yeah. It's going to screw with him.
That's what they use in Spider-Man 3, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
So the only thing I would say is that maybe Eddie and Venom, we had some technical difficulties here.
We had a guest appearance on the podcast.
Probably needed to go outside.
Trigger got attacked, bro.
I love it. For people who might be listening to this and not have no video, Drunky just got pounced on by one of his doggos. Love it.
Broken. Yeah. So what? Why are people saying that this Batman movie's looking too scary, or what is this I'm hearing? It's looking too dark. Is it what's going on with the drama with the new Batman?
I don't know. I don't think there's a such thing as too dark when it comes to Batman,
that's right. That's what my thoughts was.
Maybe in terms of violence, because I see that Batman is beating the ever living shit out of a dude.
Yeah, I love that.
I love it.
I love
it's like Finto and I are like, yeah, what's wrong with that?
What's wrong with that? Have you ever read a Batman comic? He's violent, I think it was in Batman. It was either in Batman Begins or The Dark Knight. He literally dropped a dude and made them break their leg. Yeah. But sure, look at Ben Affleck. Like he's killing people left and right. Like in his movie, like it's like like obviously anything we've seen of Batman before, it's like no killing, and all the comics, it's like the killing is the no killing is the code. Whereas
Oh, that's what it was.
in that movie, in the Snyder movie, like he's literally blowing cars up. He's doing anything in his power to just absolutely like just wipe the playing field out. So like enemies are just dying left and right. Like I remember the first time I watched that, I was like counting. I was like, "There's four dead guys in the car." I was like 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. He just ran over a car there. That's easily 3 more people done. I'm like, it's crazy how many people he kills in the movie. It's so good though.
I think people are saying it might have like a horror movie vibe to it.
Yeah, and I think that's where Batman needs to be. I think that's where a Batman movie
That
needs
was
to
yeah.
sit.
I love like Scarecrow stuff from
Like apparently Doctor Strange 2 is being labeled as a horror movie as well. I think that's officially what it's down as. Is a horror film, and obviously it's being directed by Sam Raimi, who obviously did Spider-Man, but he also did like Evil Dead and all this shit. So like he's a horror director, like so. I'm all for it. I think it's great.
hell yeah, dude. Yeah. I love like the darker, the more adult, the more away we go from the Disney label of being Disney growing up cartoon kids, like the more adult content we get from Disney, the happier I'll be.
Like look at how successful Deadpool was. Like that's a movie that like people who aren't even comic book fans are going to watch because it's just gory and funny and rude and everything. And I just think there's a gigantic market for that stuff. And I think that's something that Disney obviously can't really bank in on, but like Sony definitely should be doing. Like I know Venom is Venom is not a movie I would put on with my 7-year-old sitting in the room playing. Like obviously not, like it's freak him out. But at the same time, they could go so much harder with it, and they just don't seem to do it either. I don't understand it. Like they easily should be seeing the success of like even Logan. Logan was a very kind of adult movie as well. Like that was like a very much so, and that movie was fucking amazing. So I don't know why Disney aren't doing like a rated R division with like Blade and Punisher and
Is Blade not going to be rated R?
No.
This one coming out, yeah, it doesn't hit the same.
Won't
hit the same.
Won't hit the same.
That's
you're 100% right.
It's going to drive me insane because Blade. Like, if you remember the first Blade movie, it was all about blood.
Oh yes,
and the word fuck.
Yeah,
and yeah.
Some motherfuckers always trying to ice skate uphill. That is one of the best quotes of that movie.
Also, motherfucker, have you lost your damn mind?
Yeah. Those movies, bro. I only watched the trilogy there like about 6 months ago, and they still hold up. They're still so good, like so good.
I had that. I had the first Blade on VHS. It was so good, dude.
So good, dude. I love that. I love the scene in the nightclub at the start, just with where it starts raining blood and the music going and everything, like the hardcore like trance music and all from the 90s. Like it's just,
dude.
It's fucking
the
epic.
Sword having the booby trap in it, like all that stuff. When I was a kid, that was so cool.
Oh man, that scene with that song became immortal the moment like it hit in that scene.
That's why I don't think like a non-rated R Blade hits the same. Well, I guess when it's not Wesley Snipes, maybe it'll be different because you gotta have all the.
So apparently, like I pay attention to a lot of the scoopers and fucking spoilers and all this sort of stuff, and apparently Marvel have like Blade under like lock and key. Like apparently whatever's gonna happen in Blade is top secret from Marvel. They all the scoopers can't get any information on it whatsoever. So I don't know, like that makes me quite excited because they obviously have massive plans for a trilogy or something that it's going to tie into other movies. Like I really see maybe like a Morbius crossover with Blade.
I hope the mutants show up with mutants. That'd be cool.
Mutants, yeah. And wasn't there already a kind of a reference to vampires and Loki as well, so they're definitely gearing it all up, like, so yeah, it's crazy.
Oh,
yeah,
and
they can't get anything done because the movie's like 5 years away and they haven't done anything.
I know, it's
right.
No, well, I could think even like even like this scoopers are able to get kind of plot ideas and all this sort of thing. And casting rumors, there's literally nothing. Speaking
of mutants, really quick, the Shriek is actually a mutant, so I'm wondering how they're gonna play that out in the Venom movie. So that's going to be interesting because
Treat her like a mutant, to be honest. She'll probably just have powers and be like, yeah, okay.
that's yeah, and like I'm not. Yeah, and I'm not saying I'm all like I'm not like woo Shriek, but like it's still a villain. You want to do the villain some service at least.
I feel like it's gonna be like a nothing in that, a non-factor in the movie.
Yeah.
The way I see trailers these days, almost every trailer I've seen in the past 2 years has shown minimum 30 seconds, sometimes 2 minutes of the most climactic parts of the movie. So I feel like what you've seen in the trailer is what you're going to get of Shriek, probably, and not much more.
That could be.
I hope you're wrong with that.
And like they're literally showing scenes I've never seen in the trailers right before the film, advertising for you to come buy tickets to Shang-Chi because they're just running the carpet, movie theater advertisements, and I'm like,
They really do that to you?
And you're showing me new scenes I haven't seen yet. What do you want
It's
from me?
ridiculous.
These trailers
I can't pull over. I'm already pull over. We can't pull over anymore.
I hate modern trailers. They show way too much of the really good stuff.
Yeah. When I saw that 1 minute featurette with the bus scene, I was like, I can't, like, anything else that says Shang-Chi, I can't. I'm not clicking on it.
Yeah,
I'm done.
Same.
Black Widow, like
they're releasing like
upset me
official clips and everything. Like there's
I think
the YouTube only put it up today. Marvel Studios YouTube only put up today like an official clip from the movie, and it's like a 1 minute scene from the film. It's like, why are people watching that?
You know what we should
What's the
do
benefit?
from here on out? We got a Spider-Man teaser. We should only watch things that are labeled teasers. Anything that they label a trailer is going to ruin the movie for us. If they release a Spider-Man trailer between now and Spider-Man coming out, it's gonna give probably much more context to the movie, and us being the fans that we are, we're gonna be able to connect the dots. I don't think trailers are meant for people like us. I think trailers are meant for just normies that aren't going to be able to connect the dots and that aren't going to give a shit when some of the most climactic parts of the movie were shown in the trailer before you ever purchased a ticket.
I like what you're saying. I like what you're saying, Carl, but like me knowing myself, if there's another even 1 second of new footage for Spider-Man, I'm gonna watch it.
I'm just sad. I'm just sad for
I know
ourselves because
myself
I don't want us to get like ruined anymore. Like it's unfortunate. Everything that comes out that like I don't know. I miss as corny as it is. I miss the old trailers with the stupid voice. One day in a place where like I'd rather have that
this summer.
That guy died not too a while back. But
there's other guys.
There is another guy.
Bronxy
I think it was
quite well. Get him some work.
Bronxy, that would be sick. There's a dude on a channel called Honest Trailers. I think he has been signed up for a few trailers to do the voice. He was almost the spitting image of that same, or spitting voice or whatever, of that same guy who did that back then. So they will eventually have those kind of trailers, once in a while again, but they probably have to sign him up. But yeah, like as far as trailers go, I do agree with Kyle on the fact that, a lot of it gets spoiled. A lot of the best scenes get spoiled. If it was just a couple of let's say it was 15 seconds, they show you 15 seconds of that bus scene and they just show like, oh, he can't hurt anybody. And then you see him like hit him a couple times and then he strains the jacket. That's all you need. Mm-hmm. You don't need the full,
if you're looking at a graph, show me the climb up. These trailers are literally showing you the apex, the peak of the climax of the movies. And they're showing some, like I said, minimum 30 seconds, sometimes upwards of 2 minutes of this content. And when you have scenes that are only sometimes 2 to 3 minutes long, it's like, oh, so there's only a minute I get that I haven't seen out of this most climactic part of your movie. And I had to pay X amount of dollars to see this. It's just, I don't know. It's disrespectful to the art of movie making. I think it's just disrespectful to the customer. It's stupid.
Yep, I agree. 100%.
Mm-hmm. One example that I have is when it comes to video game trailers, or even a mention of a game. Like when they first mentioned The Last of Us, the first game, The first thing I saw was the trailer, just to kind of show you like what the game could be about. Afterwards, anything that said The Last of Us, I looked away.
Really?
Yeah, I knew from the moment I saw that first trailer that teased what was going to come. I was in, and I didn't need anything else. You had me at hello.
Yeah.
But even piggybacking off what you said, I feel like the game industry is more stingy with their content. Sometimes game teasers and trailers will be like a screenshot, and then everyone's like, "Oh shit, that's what's going to be coming out."
Yeah.
Like I feel like I go into games more like blind than I do going into these movies.
I think like with game trailers, like they'll release like gameplay footage 2 years before the fucking game comes out, and it's kind of like, you know, I'll watch something and I'll be like, oh yeah, cool, and then I won't think about it again because I'm like, we're not going to be playing this till 2024. Like, what's the fucking point of even talking about it? You know what I mean? And then it comes out and you're like, oh shit, that game's out now. Great, let's fucking pick it up. Like, but it's insane.
Like, back to Drunkie's point, there's like so many movies at this point that they not only they feel like they're competing against 8 other blockbusters this year, so they spam you with half the movie's content.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's like Fallen Order 2, for example. We haven't seen a screenshot, nothing from that game at all, right? So that really scares me because it's like, okay, we're gonna get like a teaser trailer and then maybe a gameplay trailer, and then we're not gonna see the game for at least another year. Like, it's just insane. Whereas I don't know, maybe hopefully they're gonna try and get out of that sort of thing, because I think this Guardians of the Galaxy game, they've only released stuff fairly recently, and now they're saying that the game's out in October. So maybe they're getting over that sort of thing. But it's definitely what I usually see is like, you know, we'll get an E3 fucking premiere of a game, and then it's like, yeah, it's out in 2 years.
You know, one thing I miss though when it comes to previews or any sort of like hype are magazines. And the reason behind that is like when say you heard about Resident Evil Code Veronica, and they were showing that, you know, it's a new way of like revealing Resident Evil. You have this 3D effects and whatnot. You open up the magazine and they just show you pictures, and the pictures are like, just look at the bricks, the texture on the bricks. Like, it looks amazing and such. Like, you know, things like that. Yeah. And it was just like, just knowing and saying things like that would be visually like eye popping. Like that's what I love. And so, you know, like these trailers, they focus too much on like what's like, you know, like show me one gameplay trailer, I'm happy. Show me 5, I'm concerned. I'm just, you know, why do you keep trying to sell me on something that if you truly believe this is going to be a fantastic game or even a fantastic movie, all you need is maybe 2 trailers and you're good.
Yeah, for sure. I don't know where they've, like, this, especially cinema. I don't know where cinema's adapted this whole official clip shit from. Like, that just, I don't know what the hell is going on with that. And like, even all the TV spots used to be kind of hard to find online, and I don't watch a lot of TV, just because I hate advertising. So, you know, I'll watch stuff on streaming services, or if I like torrent things. But I'm not watching like live TV. Like, fuck that. Like, you know, so I never see like TV spots live. But now they're starting to pop up online all the time, and there's all these like official clips and official trailers and all this shit. Like, we're oversaturated with content from stuff that we should be seeing a 2-minute clip of and then going, yeah, I'm gonna go see that. Like, you know.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
The overstimulation is real.
Yeah,
it's ridiculous.
Yeah, 100%. Guys, I think that might be it, unless we have anything else to talk about.
That was marvelous.
Let me just quickly remind people though, if you guys missed any of the episode, you want to catch up on anything, we are putting these up on YouTube now. You can find Marvelous Chats on the YouTube channel. Just search Marvelous Chats and you should find us now. And also, if you want to start listening to this stuff in audio format, we are getting listed on all of the podcasting platforms. I think we just got listed on Apple Podcasts the other day. Nice. So the last episode should be going up. I'd have to double check, but I think it should be there. So the last episode is going up tonight or tomorrow, and then this episode will be out this week. So you can listen to this on audio. You can catch up on the VOD on the YouTube channel. So we're like an actual podcast now. We're actually
Sure,
Yay.
you're following the
It's gonna
socials,
be
the
great.
Twitter, the official Marvelous Chats Twitter.
Smash that like
yes,
button.
sir.
Smash it.
It
And-
was marvelous this week. Can't wait to talk about What If next week. Hope Party Thor delivers. We'll
Hell
talk
yeah.
about spoiler Shang-Chi next week. So if you're one of our frequent visitors here to the podcast, make sure you get your tickets. Go see that if you want to join in on that discussion next week. Shang-Chi.
Hell yeah.
10 Rings.
Sir.
Leave a comment below, guys, if you're on YouTube. Let's continue the conversation there. And we'll see you next week. Goodbye, guys.
Jeez.
Love you
Have a
all.
great one, everyone.
See ya.
Bye.